We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
Champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, because we are the champions of the HBCU world. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the ONG Strike Zone. I'm Brian Fulford. That is Marcus Green, and that is Kelvin Rozier, and we are champions. Champions. We are so glad. I could have started with I'm so glad to be a Rattler, or I'm so glad I went to FAMU, I guess, but I don't know. I just felt like singing, and my voice, I actually made it through that, and the voice didn't pop.
It didn't crack, man. I mean,
good
job. Way to go, champ.
Hey, thank you, man. This good old Circle K purified water, boy, I tell you.
No, I think that was that pineapple that I'm sipping on.
Hey, amen. Which I didn't get any, but that's okay, though. That's okay. Welcome to
We're working, man. We're working.
I know, man. I know. And the one little sip I had, it put my ass to sleep. So, yeah. Welcome to another episode back from Atlanta. We appreciate everybody who followed our journey from the A. Man, what a beautiful time. Marcus, Kelvin, how have the last, since I've seen you, last 72 hours, how have the last 72 hours been for you fellas?
Man, it's been a whirlwind. I didn't know, being from Atlanta, I guess for the Braves, but we're not used to this championship type stuff. But it's like you're just floating on cloud nine and just doesn't end. And that's just as a fan. I know the coaching staff's going through it too. That's gonna be one of my questions to Coach Simmons.
Yeah, they're already back at work, so it's like I don't know how you process, everything that's happened. Kelvin, you're right there in the heart of Championship Town in T-Town, Championship Hassie, whatever we want to call it, Champahassee. Well, I don't know, whatever word there is. What's it like in Tallahassee?
Willahassie.
Titletown, Florida. What's it like? What's it been like the last 72 hours in T-Town?
Man, everybody's excited. Everybody agree each other as champions, some form or another. Orange and green is out everywhere. There's a something at the Moon tomorrow to celebrate, and it's for the fans. It's not even for the team or the administration.
That's awesome.
So we doing championship things down here in T-Town.
Man, I need to get on the bus. What day is this happening? I need to get on the bus.
Tomorrow.
Oh hell, that's such short notice. I don't know how I'm gonna make that, but man, yeah, I gotta find my way up there. But yeah, so it's like now. So what? We read each other. What's up, champion? That's that's how.
That's it. What's up, champ?
All right. Good evening, champions. Welcome to the ONG Strike Zone, right here on the Black College Sports Network. Again, got to thank everybody for your support, following our coverage. Man, awesome experience.
And what even made it more awesome is getting not only the win and the way we won, but meeting some of our faithful viewers, people we've heard about, people we've met, people in the media that we didn't get a chance to meet. And you never guess what, Kelvin? I met Melissa Wilson from That's right.
Oh yeah, you met. Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Did you guys fulfill the assignment? Did you dump photos where I asked you guys to dump photos?
Probably not.
Probably not. Of course not.
I just saw it like 15 minutes ago.
Of course you did. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Exactly. Yep. I ain't changed. I'm keeping it real. Yep. I was an old man 25 years ago. I'm an old man now. I appreciate you pointing that out.
Oh, Brian, you better than me because I would just take a sniff and I'm like,
you a sniff would put you out. Well, hell, I was a little better than a sniff. When I wasn't getting drinks poured on me at the restaurant we were at, I could get through a couple. Jesus, man.
Hey, it wasn't us. It was water. It was water. It wasn't us now.
Right.
No, actually, it was a beer, wasn't it?
It was a beer. Yeah. It was a beer. One of them tall glasses too, and somehow it didn't completely break. And you were quick too. You look like you had a few snaps in you. You were quick to get out the way. You recognized what was happening, and you shifted out of there real quick, avoided it.
Absolutely,
phone. Man,
absolutely. The server wasn't gonna get me.
Exactly. Right. Exactly, man. She tried to get me though when I looked at my bill, when I looked at my my credit card. Thank God those holds only last for 72 hours and not 96 hours. I'll tell you what, man, they be trying to get you at these hotels. But anyway, I told y'all, and I would love to hear your immediate thoughts. I love the fact that so many people have their thoughts and think about Kofi. And I mean, me personally, you too, Kelvin, I not only thought about Kofi, but I thought about our good friend Cliff, Cliff Reed. Man, we lost Cliff about almost 10 years ago. And that was when we were in the Valley. But
right,
we were in the Valley then. And I know, man, Cliff would have been on cloud. I know he's on cloud 9. And so that's where my thoughts were after I finally had a chance to stop working once the final, and the final, Drew had punched in the final number and said, that's the ball game up there in the stat. And I just kind of sat there and I'm just watching, and I just kind of had my binoculars zoom into different people. And then, I ain't gonna lie, man. I was emotional. It took me a minute because, friends, and this is for all of you out there, friends who love and die for this. That's the wrong word, but just people who just bleed orange and green, love this university, love this football program. I mean, if you lost somebody between now and I don't know when was the last great year we had, maybe 20 years, or even at least over a decade, I know you had to be feeling emotional just with thoughts of them on your mind and wishing that they were around to experience this. And then you get choked up and caught up when you get backstage, and like you said, Marcus, and you meet people, and then you're down there where we were, and we got a chance to see the players and just the coaches. I mean, it was
a lot of love.
Man, there's a lot of love, and
there's a lot of Rattler love.
It underscores the big point that winning is hard, but winning with the right people is hard, because just imagine how hard it is to get the right people to buy in to your program. And I heard Coach Simmons say that earlier today, but getting the right people to buy into your belief in your program and have that faith that he always talks about, man, that's hard. And it's hard. And God bless, man, just so thankful to be just a part of witnessing it. Any other thoughts you want to add in there as well, and then I'm going to do a roll call here and stuff like that?
No, I want to save my thoughts till when we really get, start talking about the game and afterwards.
Right. Okay, so let me kind of run down what we got. And the reason, and no, first off, thank you for everybody who's jumping in early. Appreciate you getting the notifications. Thank you for following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at ONG StrikeZone. You guys saw that we were starting a little bit early. You jumped in early. Awesome. We got a great show lined up for you. So our scheduled lineup, yes, coming up somewhere in about 20-30 minutes. We're going to talk to the last two championship QB1s are going to be on with us at the same time. We're going to talk to Al Chester Sr., and then we're going to talk to Jeremy Moussa. Both of them won a national championship on the same day, separated 45 years apart. I mean, talk about the synergy and how awesome that is. So we got those two quarterbacks coming up. And so we'll just get a chance to kind of to talk to them, and especially Jeremy, had a chance to I mean, it is what it is, man. That's my quarterback. So I just can't even put it into enough words. Y'all know how I feel about that dude. And then coming up in the top of hour 2, like there's a lot, like merchandising is a big thing following the win. And I mean, I put a post out just saying, hey, can somebody aggregate a link with all the officially licensed stuff? Where can we find it? Because I mean, the wallets may be open right now, so I got money to burn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got money to burn.
Yeah. And you don't want to get burnt.
Yes, thank you. You don't want to get burnt. So we've got Sabrina Thompson coming up. Sabrina oversees, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Kelvin, she oversees our licensing for Florida A&M. So you guys with licensing questions and things of that nature, get those questions ready in the chat. That's coming up at the top of hour 2. Bottom of hour 2, we're going to bring back the roundtable. Our media roundtable was such a big hit the 2 previous times that we did it. So coming up at 8:30, we've got Rory Sharrock, a Rattler review, of course, of Sharrock Media Group, Alison Posey, WCTV, Gerald Thomas, GT3 from the Democrat, and Zach McKinnell of the Bluebloods and FCS Football Central. And hopefully, I know Alison might be doing double duty. So with it's a big day, recruiting day. So hopefully she's able to get away for, 20-30 minutes or so and join us for that conversation. Who knows? Gerald might be busy as well. So hopefully we get those guys in. Then we got the head ball coach in hour 3. The head ball coach, he's been done a couple interviews in a few places, but man, we appreciate his love and all the support, and we continue to want to lift him up and all the good things. So we're going to try to find some questions that he hasn't been asked over the last 72 hours. It's hard because I think if any of you have heard a lot of the interviews and the stuff he's done, whether it be press conferences or other shows, I mean, we just got to find some. So maybe you guys have some questions that you got for Coach Simmons. He's going to come on at 9:20. So that's the lineup. And who knows, might have another special guest or two. Just depends. And we might even try to find a way to open it up for you guys, because I know you guys want to express your thoughts, express yourself. I might drop a link and give you a chance to call in and join the show as well. So with that said, anything I'm missing out here that you want to hit on before we kind of do roll call? We got about 15 to 20 minutes before we get Al and Jeremy.
No, sir. Go ahead and let's do this roll call.
Roll call. I feel like we got to come up with a some kind of music or something, man. You know, something that gets a little going. All right, first in on the roll call on the championship edition show. There she is, Tamara T. Tamara, what up?
What's up, champ?
Champ, what up, champ? Good to see you. Good to see it. And look, there she is, Melissa Wilson.
Champ.
Champ. Exactly. Ashton, he gets it.
What's up, champ?
He gets it. He understands. Meredith understands the assignment.
What's up,
there
champ?
it is. Yes, indeed. B. Starks, he understands.
What's up, champ?
Right. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. Mary 305, how you doing?
Hey, champion.
Yes, indeed. Demetri Alford coming in there. What up?
There go another champion.
Another champ. Melissa says, Marcus, it was great meeting you in the A. Yep, for sure. There's my guy, Tony. What up, champ?
Another champion.
Another champ. We always appreciate our friends of the show. So Chuck Hunt checking in from Monroe, Louisiana.
Congratulations on getting a coach.
Hey,
good luck.
Exactly. Congratulations. Everybody in Louisiana has a coach now. So that's a good one. Hey, checking in all the way from California, Miss Joanne Garcia, Jeremy's grandmother.
Hey, what's up, champ?
What up, champ? How you doing, Miss Champ? Good to see you. Jay Brown checking in. What up, champ?
What's up,
Good to have
champ?
you in there. Let's see. Mr. Campbell coming in there. Good evening, champ.
What's happening, champ?
Definitely, Ashton. Appreciate you dropping some love in there. Hashtag LL Kofi. Long live our brother Kofi Hemingway, man. Would have loved this. Love to see all the love and support. People checking in. Let's see. Anybody else out there? Did I mention EA? I don't know. EA comes in. Good.
What's up, champ?
Yeah, great message, EA. Great reminder. I've been saying it for the last 72 hours. We got to give at a championship level. I think we started talking about giving 1887. Then I think you saw some things where some initiatives were saying, hey, give $30 for the 30 points we scored. Give $20 for the 20 game home win streak. Give $45 for the 45 years since we last won the national championship. I don't know. You can come up with a number, though.
Or give 95 for all three.
Amen.
Which they gonna get me. I gotta do it.
I gave 1887. I may find me some more money down in my pockets somewhere. Bull, hey man, thanks for checking in, man. Glad you found it. What up, champ? Thanks for finding us. Yeah, we changed the time, Bull, just for this week because we got a loaded guest lineup. So we had to get in early because we do sometimes want to end at 10. I know, even though I'm on winter break.
Not Brian.
I'm on winter break. Now I'm on winter break. The rest of y'all got to go to work. I'm on chill mode until January. So, hey, we got a championship coach in the building. What's up,
coach? What's up, champ?
What up, champ? Yes, indeed. Coach checking in. Coach Troy Johnson. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of the guys and all of our coaching staff. John Taylor checking in.
What's up, champ?
JG Rattler.
JG.
Montre Bennett checking in.
What's up, champ?
Trying not to miss anybody here because we love all of y'all and appreciate all of you guys for checking in. Janice Watley checking in from Atlanta. We appreciate you. Kyle Flowers. What's up, champ? How you doing? AD Drew, my partner, AD. What up, champ?
What's up, champ?
May Ellis checking in. Good to see you.
What's up, champ?
What's up?
Another champion. Boy, all these champions, all these orange and green champions.
Exactly.
And shout out to the non-champions too. I see y'all too now.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Coach Frost. Man, we appreciate you. You can be
save the swag. Save the swag. We save the swag.
Hey man, I'm gonna give a shout out to Earl Hankerson, man. Earl, hey, I don't look. I'm gonna have to get Earl on next week. I want to know the origins on where that idea came from because that idea was fire. I mean, look, you talk about putting yourself out there. That took some cojones. That might be the second biggest, setup cojones in Atlanta next to Coach Simmons throwing a flea flicker in the fourth quarter, calling that play up. That was huge. And just the whole idea of coming up with that theme, it paid off. Wow. That was awesome. That was awesome. Let's do this while we're waiting on our QBs. I'm gonna ask you guys biggest play. If one single play, and you look at that game, that one single play that you had the chance to watch the game again, replay it in your head, what do you think that single biggest play amongst some huge plays in a game that was just crazy in so many ways? What would you nail it down to? And you guys in the chat room, go ahead and start dropping in your thoughts as well.
I haven't had a chance to rewatch all of it. I saw some of it last night. I didn't want to watch the highlights because it's different looking at it on TV than when you're in the stands.
I'm the same way. Same way.
For me, that fourth down catch by Kamari Young,
first play of the fourth quarter.
I was like,
the first quarter.
And that was a tight window.
Hey, you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt. I realized, and I didn't realize, that was, and I will get a chance to ask Moussa, that was probably his second or third read. If you watch that video, because if I recall, he was looking left, and then he kind of came back over the middle and saw Kamari. So I was either his second or third read. I'd love to hear what Al he saw it. Jeremy thinks, but go ahead, Marcus. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh no, just that play, and I don't remember what the score was because I'm kind of like zoned in when I'm watching the plays, so I don't remember I remember it was fourth down and we were going for it, and I don't remember if it was since it was fourth quarter, if that was leading to our touchdown that extended the lead or gave us the lead. I just don't remember. I just remember fourth down. If we don't make this where we were, and with their running game, they could, run out the clock. Because I was getting a little nervous in the third quarter. I was like, okay, these dudes run the ball. They just want to squeeze the clock out. They just want to run it down. So that for me.
All right. What about you, Kelvin?
The third Howard possession in FAMU territory in which the defense held, and I can't remember whether it was a turnover or what happened at this time, but I remember we were down 16-7, I believe it was. And they had got the ball in our possession. I mean, on our side of the field, and then the defense did what the defense does, and it made them go out. And to keep that game at that moment in time, because right after that, we drove, and I think we got the field goal to make it 16-10. So that defensive stop, I think, was early in the second quarter. I think was really big.
That's interesting. You went off the grid a little bit like that.
I did.
I wasn't I wasn't thinking about that. That was good. Yeah, I'm still going through the scroll here. I'm seeing a lot of great things in here. Yeah, I still come back to I mean, the flea flicker was insane. And then hearing I think probably by now a lot of folks have heard the backstory on it. The fact that it was practiced, but it wasn't practiced well. I mean, you can hear Coach, he said a couple times in a couple different places, he wasn't very confident in putting that play in, but he trusted his guys. He trusted, and just the throw was off a little bit. Jeremy had to kind of shuffle to his right to get it. But I'll throw, and I saw somebody put this in there. I thought the fourth down play to Kamari was huge at the moment. I thought it was huge. I didn't realize that it was, again, he wasn't his initial look. because it was really his probably second or third read. But then I saw someone put in here, and I realized it going back with that safety. Jeremy prevented that Howard defender from taking the ball from him. That almost turned into a touchdown. So he, you look at a safety and say, oh, that's a negative play. Damn, that safety was very close. I mean, we see it all the time in NFL and other levels that if you don't have a strong grip on that ball is squirting out. And he saved that ball from coming out. And so, yeah, that might be that might be in my top three, just honestly. Let me see. Going through here, a lot of people mentioning the fourth down conversions, the flea flicker. Kenya, yeah, definitely. Coach was, hey, I've said that trick plays are a sign of desperation, but when it's the end of the season and you're trying to win a damn ball game, you empty the bag. So I don't even look at the last game like that. I just look at it and say, yo, coach just had to empty the bag to get it to get whatever he could out. Let me see. Any other, and Marcus, I don't know, jump in if you guys are looking in the chats, anything else in here. Here's EA. Here's a good one from EA. The first catch and run after being down 14-0. That's a good point. That was a good point.
It was very similar. That play, the way it turned out, was very similar to the one against PV.
Mm-hmm.
The first one against PV.
Yeah. Let's see. What do you see? What are you laughing at?
Is that J Mac?
The Jalen Clay, J Brown, his comment.
Where?
The Jalen
J Brown comment.
Hey, the glaze. We call it the glaze. I call it the glazed bison hit. The glazed bison hit. Yes, indeed. Oh, what a hit, man! What a hit.
Hey, yeah. And I saw some of his teammates affectionately calling him the Draymond Green of football. That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Montre. I did see your email. I'll be honest. I didn't get a chance to see. I think I'll take a look at it in a break. I know Montre was pointing out a few things via video that he saw. Yeah. So the Draymond Green, that's interesting. Any other talking points regarding the game? I know before we start getting into talking to our guests, any other talking points? I mean, I feel I don't want to say that I've talked so much about the game or I've heard so much about the game. So I mean, I know a lot of you have, and if Tamara T pointing out.
Yes. Yeah, that fourth quarter was magical, right? We put up 3 scores in the fourth quarter, but the fact that finally the 100 was like the hell with the DJ and the screen, and they did what we do at home, man, that was awesome. And it got the crowd crunk, and everything went our way from then on pretty much.
I didn't even hear when we scored that the 100 played. What did the 100 play? The 100 played. They played something that just kind of the timeliness of what they played in the fourth quarter.
Was it you're an on-time
guy?
Yeah, on-time God. Yeah, I think that's it, Marcus. I mean, obviously
that was at the end. That was when we had won, when we had game.
Oh, okay. I don't.
But they started off. I think the first one they did was vice versa.
Okay. Yeah, just everything that went into that. Let's do this. From
Melissa Wilson, I'm going to ask that of Coach Simmons when he comes on. The question she's asking. I have that in my list of questions for Coach Simmons that I have on my little phone note section.
All right. We'll hold that one then. I know I had a little explanation because trust me, in the statistics booth, we were debating and trying to figure that out ourselves. Between that and the curious reason why they didn't measure the 4th down quarterback sneak by Jeremy. Add that to your question. No, they didn't review
not.
it. I'm
They
sorry.
didn't review it.
Right. Why they didn't review it? Right.
That's gonna add that to the list, and I don't think I've heard Coach Simmons talk about that. We got to find that out. What happened with that review? That was crazy. That was crazy. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a break. Coming up on the other side of the break, we got Al Chester and Jeremy Moussa joining us. So let's get ready for our guest, our first guest coming up. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. Appreciate you watching in. Make sure to go ahead and share the show. Let your people know. Let Rattler Nation know who we got coming up on the show. You see it in the guest lineup. You see it if you saw the previews. Let folks know. And we'll be back in just a moment.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. I promise no singing because we got some champions in the building, and I don't want to embarrass myself in front of these gentlemen. As you can see, joining us now live, we've got Al Chester Sr., QB1 of the 1978, actually 77 and 78 HBCU National Champs, but also, of course, of the 78 FCS National Champs. And then, of course, we got Jeremy Moussa, QB1 of the 2023 Celebration Bowl and HBCU National Champs. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the show. Jeremy, congratulations. How you guys doing tonight?
Outstanding. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you guys.
Doing good as well. Excited to be here.
All right. Well, let's start with the man of the hour. Jeremy, I know you're back in the home state, and talk a little bit about the last 72 hours, my man. What has it been like processing all of the hard work that you and your teammates have put in over this past season and really for you these past 2 seasons?
Yeah, it's been great. Just getting to spend some time with family, after the game in Atlanta, and then going back to Tallahassee and, seeing, some fans and just how excited it was, for everybody, and just, how you can have a little effect on people's lives when you do something like this. So it was great to just see a lot of happiness within everyone, and but also at the same time for me, bittersweet, because my time at FAMU is coming to an end, and having to say goodbye to some teammates and some coaches that I'm not going to be able to see for a couple months. Just it was the end of a really good time in my collegiate career, and this is the not the feeling, but the opportunity to have this feeling, the opportunity to play with such a great group of guys is what I was always chasing. So like I said, bittersweet, and but I'm looking forward to getting into some training and what God has in store for me in the next couple months, and then go back for hopefully the banquet, and then getting to play in the Legacy Bowl with some of my teammates and Coach Simmons.
Right. Al Chester Sr., Mr. Chester. I mean, the memories, I'm sure, as you watch, what was it? What kind of memories flash back, or did you have some flashback memories? And then maybe what can this young man expect for the next several decades of his life after he becomes a champion? What's life going to be like for him?
Well, I tell you what, man, I follow these guys all year, actually the last 2 years, and watched the development of Moose. And I tell you what, he's been a fantastic quarterback for us, and obviously winning this thing, Moose. I just want to personally and publicly congratulate you. I didn't get a chance to see you after the game, but having a chance to broadcast the games, you see these guys, and I never worried about if we would win. It was always how we would win. And that's the magic I felt from these guys. I don't know if they really realize what they accomplished. And, you don't value a moment until it becomes a memory. And I tell you, 45 years ago, we did the same thing. And looking back, I tell you what, it's just amazing. The older you get, the more important that kind of thing is to you. And I'll be interested to see what some of the players on this football team, when they turn 35 and got big stomachs, how they feel about this thing, because I think they'll realize what they accomplished. They'll realize, it's a big deal, man. This is huge. And again, 45 years ago, we won the thing. We went 12-1. They matched the record. Ironically, we played on the same day, December the 16th, and it was covered by ABC. I mean, I think that whole deal was divine, but I could see it coming. I felt it coming all year. And all during the year, I would always throw out a little tidbit on our national championship run, each game that we played during the course of the season. And it ended up being perfect, man. I tell you what, I'm elated and happy for Moose and all the players. Coach Simmons has done a tremendous job. And, we want to see this thing continue. You guys really don't realize what you've done. But I tell you, winning takes care of everything. And you guys lit it up. And that's a good thing.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate the acknowledgement and the support from everybody. It means a lot, and it helps us, have the determination and everything to keep going.
Yeah, I was listening to the guys talk. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, man. I was listening to you guys talk before it was our turn to come on. We were talking about the biggest plays of the game, the most crucial plays of the game. I tell you what, when I looked at it, I looked at that reverse pass to throw to the touchdown that Moose caught, that was called back. I thought that was huge. But I mean, just to call a play like that in a championship game, it's big time. I tell you what, Coach Simmons, I mean, I tell you what, Shotgun got some balls, man. I tell you what, he made some plays and made some calls, and it let everything on fire, man. But the flea flicker for 6 points. Obviously the pick by Isaiah Major right there at the end of the game. Kamara's 4th down catch to me was huge because it kept the drive alive. And of course, I thought Moose did a good job looking off, man. I mean, I tell you what, he was looking guys off, man, and coming back to receivers. And you couldn't ask for anything better than that.
Hey, can I do a follow up real quick, Kelvin? Because I know you're gonna get a 2-part.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so. Jeremy, I got to ask. I didn't realize this in the moment, but I saw it on film. When you hit on the beginning of 4th quarter, first play to Kamari, was he I didn't realize that he was probably your second or third read. Walk us through that play, coming out of the timeout or the quarter break. Walk us through that play, and then just what you're seeing and the motion that went through that.
Yeah, so coach decided that we're gonna go for it on 4th down right at the quarter, and so we're just talking about in the huddle, like, okay, what do you want to do? What play do you like? We ended up calling that play. We thought we were really gonna get man coverage because, or some type of man coverage, cover 1 or cover 0, just because they played that a lot on 3rd down. They ended up giving us drop 8, cover 2. I believe it's like 4th and 6. But that concept we called is good for everything, and that's why I like that call coming off the sideline, because it's good versus man coverage, but it's also good because it gives me a couple options. And K-Dot was my first progression on that, and versus that particular coverage, it's going to turn into basically smash, a hitch in a corner, and so I gave a look to Nick Dixon, who was running the corner. And, the safety was wide because it was covered 2. So I just came back to Kamari. He did a great job of winning, on his cross route, and, just put the ball where it needed to be. He made a great catch in traffic. And, I agree with you guys on that. I personally think that was one of the biggest plays of the game, just because, it gave us momentum coming off the sideline. And, that was a play that we needed. There was only one chance to get it on 4th down, and it eventually led to us scoring 2 plays later. So, I think that's what really got everything going, in my opinion.
Appreciate that breakdown. Yeah, go ahead, Kelvin.
First of all, congratulations, Jeremy. Awesome year, awesome career at FAMU, and look forward to what's to happen in the future. But thank you for that championship. Appreciate it. Now, in terms of my questions, I got 2. One, I'm assuming you played baseball before, because you show like you got really good hands on 3 different occasions in my mind, right? When you were trying to turn back and you got sacked on that safety, and you didn't see that guy when you was turning, and he swiped the ball and it came a little bit loose, but you were able to grab it and secure it while falling to the ground. You also showed great hands on your catch that was called back on the touchdown. And then the third play that I recall saying, man, he got some really good hands, was on that flea flipper, because you had to kind of reach back and grab it and throw it in one motion. So just talk about, I'm just interested. Did you play other sports? Did you play another position on the field at any time coming up? And then my second question is really about what things going to look like for you moving forward, these next few months.
Yeah, so no, I grew up playing a bunch of different sports, soccer, baseball, basketball, football, or those are really the main sports I got into. But baseball was probably arguably my biggest sport. My dad, always used to tell me he thought I was better at baseball than football. And as a parent, you probably want your kid to play baseball because it's a little safer. But I started playing baseball when I was like 4 years old, and I played really high level travel baseball. Southern California area has really good baseball out here. So I grew up, traveling to tournaments every weekend, and I played everything from outfield to second base to first base. Most recently I was a catcher, so I played everywhere, and I hit the ball pretty good, or at least I like to think that. But it's just natural. I like to give everyone, or I like to tell everyone, quarterbacks are the best athletes on the field, and I like to say that right. We can do a lot of different things. I might not be the most athletically gifted guy on the field who can run the fastest or jump the highest, but I feel like I have really good hand-eye coordination, and I developed that over the years from baseball and as well as football. And, I think I can, do a lot of different sports really well. I like to say I can play golf pretty good. I can still hit a baseball pretty good, and I haven't swung a bat in years, but it's just ingrained in me. I just made the plays that came to me, and, Coach Simmons has faith in me. I would have been 2 for 2 touchdowns on 2 catches. That would have been pretty good right there in 2 big games.
Yeah.
it got called back, is what it is. But, like I said, I think I'm a decent athlete.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, great hands. Now, I know you're preparing for the next phase and everything. Just kind of talk about what it looks like.
Yeah, so I just got back to California last night. I'll be training with my quarterback coach that I've been working with since high school out here, and I'll be training at a facility called EBS, and it's out of Costa Mesa. So they worked with a lot of other guys in their pre-draft process. So looking forward to getting out there and getting to know everyone that's running that facility, and just really diving into getting ready for what's next for me. I think I've shown that I can play football at a high level, and hopefully the scouts have noticed that too. And I think I'll get an opportunity, and from there it's really it's on me what I do with it, and I expect to continue to do what I've always done.
Awesome, man. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Marcus, what do you got for these two gentlemen?
I actually have a question for Jeremy and Mr. Chester. Jeremy, given the journey that you had to get to FAMU, have you reflected back on all the accomplishments and successes and the trials that you've had, and having it culminate almost in a storybook type fashion with a championship in your last game? Has any of that gone through your mind, or have you had a chance to reflect on that?
Yeah, I don't think I've focused on it too much, but it's always kind of in the back of your head, people that have been along the journey with me kind of referencing that. And, some people that I've met, since I've been at Hawaii, or, my family and friends, just credit to them, really. I mean, they're the ones who kept my head on straight and really, allowed me to continue to be myself. Of course I had some doing in that as well, but I had a really strong support system. My parents, my girlfriend, just there for me all the time, and allowed me to just focus on football and have fun and play well. You need people around you in your corner to help you do that. And looking back, 6 years ago, almost probably 2 weeks time, I would have been 17 years old and stepping on a plane to go to Hawaii, and I never thought I would end 6 years later in Tallahassee, Florida as a national champion. I wouldn't change anything. My journey made me who I am today. It taught me lessons that I would never give up. I think adversity is part of life, and learning to deal with adversity and learning to persevere and get through hard times is ultimately going to make you a better person. And it's something that I cherish, because it's taught me so much, and it's allowed me to get to where I am today.
Okay, well, thank you. And for Mr. Chester, I wanted to ask you, what was it like for you calling the game and seeing our beloved Florida A&M get that trophy on the same day that you led us to a championship in 1978?
Hey, well, let me say this first, man. I think that one of the questions somebody asked me: how do you measure the success of a quarterback? Do you measure it by wins and losses? Do you measure it by the number of touchdown passes that he throws? Do you measure it by the number of yards that he throws? And to me, it's by wins. I mean, how many games did you win? And you look at a guy like Jeremy, who has all the arm talent. He checks off all the boxes. And I've talked about him all year, man. This guy is a winner. And the thing I said that if football doesn't work out, he's going to be a winner in life, because this guy has two degrees. I mean, all that to me is over the top. I mean, and Jeremy, I just salute you for that, man, for persevering through everything you have. I mean, your steps have been ordered by God, man, and it's divine. And I just wish you the best. Now, for me, I've been excited all year, man. And I tell you what, I was jacked up. I got to warm up to put my clothes on. I almost hurt myself up there in that booth, man. But I was so excited to watch this game. Didn't realize until after the game was over that the game was played on the same day. I mean, that got kind of a little spooky. But I've been pulling for these guys to tie the record, the 12-1 record. Coach Simmons is obviously a good friend, man, and obviously love the way he has molded these kids. You know, a team takes on the personality of a head coach, and you can see that. I mean, they got ice water running in their veins. I never worried about them winning. It was just a matter of how they were going to win, even in spite of the speed bumps and the potholes that the game serves up. Man, these guys played like champions, and it was never an issue with me. But I'm still excited about it. I hope that to see it in my lifetime, and think about Coach Hubbard and Pop Kittles, my quarterback coach, who are not here with us, but to see this thing come full circle, and it's an awesome feat. And I'm just as proud to wear my orange and green, man. And like Moose, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it the same way, baby.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. It really means a lot.
Man, look, no, this is why I had to bring. This is why we had to start the guests like this. 2 QB1s, and look, we got a great Hall of Fame quarterback trophy case. I mean, we've got legends in our case, and so just to be able to kind of put these two guys on the screen together. So for you guys watching, I hope you're enjoying this. Let me wrap it up with this, Mr. Chester. Go ahead. I'll let you jump in there, Kelvin. Go ahead.
I want to ask Moose, what was a couple of his favorite plays or moments? Don't have to be plays, just a couple of his favorite moments from this season.
And then let me add this. I was going to ask Al that. So Jeremy, after you finish, Al, I want you to answer that question as well.
Favorite moments? There's a lot. I mean, I still haven't even, probably gone through, everything. But, I mean, starting off in Miami, taking a kick return to the house, first play of the season, that really just got everyone going. I think, I think you've heard a couple of people talk about this, even at the Celebration Bowl dinner, but going to South Florida and playing a really hard fought game, even though we lost, I still think it's a game that we really should have won and really could have won. And, we made a couple too many mistakes, and that's going to always bite you in the butt. But just how our team played and how our team physically stood up to a, FBS football team for 4 quarters. That was one of the most physical games that we've played all year, and I've been a part of. And we didn't blink once, and we just kept trading blows. And like I said, we made a couple too many mistakes, but I'm so proud of the way we played that game, even in a loss. And then just how we took care of business every week. I can't pinpoint, of course, winning it at the end, winning a SWAC championship, those are great moments and you celebrate. But, it was really the day-to-day process of coming to work every single day, just enjoying, time being with your teammates, being in the locker room, enjoying being in meetings. That's the bright spot of the season, is just doing that every single day with a great group of guys and a great group of coaches.
Hey, I tell you what, victory loves preparation. And to me, when I think about the season, I can't think about just one play. I think about the entire season. And this season actually started last year when these guys were denied an opportunity to play in the playoffs. You had teams with worse records than we had, and we sitting home. And then the decision to say, let's chase the Celebration Bowl. And then I think about the 3 years we've been in the SWAC. We've only lost 2 games in 3 years in the SWAC. I mean, and both those games were to Jackson State. So to go down in the bottom and take care of business this year was, to me, a great feat and a hump that we needed to get over. The South Florida game, we should have won that game. I'm with Moose. Could have won it, should have won it. Our guys statistically played better than the University of Alabama, who played them the following week. So, I mean, that set a tone. But I think that Coach Simmons has got these guys squared away. They know how to win. Everybody wants to win, but everybody know how to win. And that's what I saw with these guys, man. So the SWAC championship, obviously, the classic, you're down against Texas Southern, a good Texas Southern. We come back and we take care of business there. And then, of course, the national championship game, man. I mean, you can't beat that with a stick. On paper, we should have put 50 on them, but they came out and played a good football game, and we had a classic national championship game, and you couldn't ask for it any better than that. But again, I never worried about us winning. It was just a matter of how we were going to win, and I salute all these guys. We lost 30, I think about 30 seniors this year. So hats off to those guys. I like the way they reached out in the communities and they visited places. Every place we've gone, the guys have had an opportunity to go see what life's all about. I mean, see some experiences and do some things that they probably never would have under normal circumstances. But man, I tell you what, it's been a great time chasing these guys, man, and calling the names and again, I wish them nothing but the best. And I know that a lot of good things are going to happen. This thing is going to continue. You guys have started something, or restarted something, I should say.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're going to keep this thing going.
No, I know. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I'm going to be right there watching along the way.
Hey, I just wrote that. I see where's Edwin? You right there with me. Victory loves preparation. I wrote that down, Mr. Chester. I don't know if that's yours or whether you borrowed it, but I'm gonna be like Edwin, and I'm gonna put your name attached to it. Victory loves preparation. Okay, I love that, man. I love that. I'm going to share that with my kids. Hey, I tell you, Mr. Chester, it felt so fitting seeing you in the morning. Like we down there that Saturday morning. I ran into you twice. So that's how I knew. I knew what the day was going to be like. I said, oh, I done ran into Alchester twice. I know we're going to win tonight. So I always appreciate running into you and sharing time and coming on the show and talking to us, man. You are one of the legends, and I always love history, but I love our FAMU football history. And there's no FAMU football history without Alchester Sr. So I appreciate you coming on the show. And I want to give Jeremy, I want to give you the last word, man, and anybody you want to shout out, thank. I know it might be a long list, so but I'll give you the last word, man. Any thoughts and names of people that come to mind, feel free to shout them out.
No, I mean, there's so many people, I could thank, like I said, my family, Coach Simmons for believing in me and giving me this opportunity. He didn't have to do that. And that's the first thing I told him after the game, just thank you for believing in me. And it paid off. And, I want to thank my teammates, every single one of them, from, all the starters on offense and defense, so every scout team guy. And because, they're integral to the team. They allow us to do our job. I want to give a huge thanks to my offensive line. Every single guy in that room works hard. Thank you to Coach Henry, for getting those boys ready to play and allowing me to do my job. And thank you to my receivers, running backs, everybody. I can't do my job without any of those guys. And, they make my job really easy. It's really easy when you throw into such talented guys on the outside. And thank you to everyone in Rattler Nation for giving us continued support through the ups and the downs. It wasn't, not every moment in the season was pretty, but it built us for, that culminating moment, and to be able to fight through adversity. If everything was squeaky clean, who knows? I still would like us in the end, but that gets us ready to play, and ultimately it helped us in the end. And, thank you to my professors on campus for making my experience enjoyable in class, and just thank you to everybody in Tallahassee. Tallahassee's been great to me, and I can't thank everyone there enough.
Well said, Moose. Hey, man, be well, be safe in Cali. Say hi to your fam. Always enjoy seeing them when we see them. That's my quarterback right there, folks. Y'all, for this day forward, right there, number 8. That's my dude. Since the day one.
Hey, Brian.
Yep. Well,
you got your jersey? You got your jersey?
It's coming.
He's trying to get a jersey.
It's coming. I know they're gonna take care of me. And look, it'll be right there on the wall behind, and you'll see it when it comes in. My number 8 will be right there on the wall next to that championship cover from the Democrats. So when that day comes, y'all will know. But hey, for real though, thank you, Jeremy, for taking time out. Be well. We look forward to following you as you take your journey into professional football, and we'll stay in touch, I'm sure, in those ways. And Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Coach, I call him Coach Chester, but Mr. Chester, Merry Christmas to you and your family as well, Coach. Still calling him Coach.
Back at you guys. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hey, appreciate you guys, man. And Rattler Nation, you guys make sure to reach out to Jeremy. Make sure you're following him on social media, Instagram, and on X and wherever. Give the shout out, Jeremy. Let people know where they can find you, just in case they don't know.
Okay. Instagram is _ Moose with 4 O's, so MOOOOSE_, and then on X, not Twitter anymore. It's I believe it's Jeremy _ Moussa.
All right. Good job. Okay. Again, thank you guys. Thank you, gentlemen. Our QB1s from the 1978 FCS National Championship team and the 2023 HBCU and Celebration Bowl champions, Al Chester Sr., Jeremy Moussa, right here on the ONG Strike Zone. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about some licensing and find out where we can get some officially licensed FAMU championship merchandise so we can walk around all day and every day in. So thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll be in touch with both of you guys soon. All right.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
All right. Take care, guys.
Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Marcus, Kelvin joining us. We have Miss Sabrina Thompson joining us on the show. How you doing,
What's up,
man? How you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you all?
Doing wonderful. Feeling like champions.
Feeling like champions.
Good.
All right. So, Sabrina, or if I may call you Sabrina.
Of course you may.
Okay, thank you. So you are. Let's let people know a little bit about what you do and in the department that you are in, and what goes into making sure that FAMU is or that are these vendors out here are properly licensed with FAMU?
Okay. Of course, again, my name is Sabrina Thompson, licensing director for Florida A&M University. I've been the licensing director on and off for about 11 years. And basically what I do is to try and protect the brand of the university. That's their intellectual property, their logos, their marks, their images, the words, and so forth.
All right. Hey, and I'm already got people asking. They like that T-shirt you got on, so you may have to go ahead and shout that out already. Tamara T, like where can we buy that one?
That's why I came prepared with my licensed merchandise.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I actually purchased this from Sam's, and this is made by Logo Brand.
Okay. Go ahead, Kelvin.
So I know, Sabrina, you do a lot of things. So she also is over the FAMU Junior Cheerleaders, which Little Rosa is a part of this year for the first time and everything. And it's a family affair for Sabrina because she's got her daughters working with her. I know we brought you on to talk about the licensing side, but why don't you just kind of talk about why you got involved with the junior cheerleaders and just how you can be a part of that?
Well, the FAMU Junior Cheerleaders, basically, it was founded by the late Nancy C. Henderson. And I was working with Nancy at the time that she passed away. And when she passed, there were a lot of alums that didn't want to see the FAMU Junior Cheerleaders go away. So people kept coming to me, can you just take it over? Can you take it over? I finally gave in, one, because both of my daughters, who are grown now with their own children, were both a part of the FAMU Junior Cheerleader Squad. And basically, it's something that I love doing. I have a passion for doing it with the girls. I have fun with the girls. There's a time to have fun. There's a time to get serious. So it's just something that I love doing. It's just a way of giving back to the community, and I just love it.
Yeah, and the fans love it too, and of course, us parents and the girls have a wonderful experience. So, and it don't just be football. We there's some expansion into some other activities also, but I'll go back to the licensing part of it. So my question is, what kind of things do you do on game day when there's large events and there's a lot of folks coming to try to set up and so forth? What kind of things between the university, collegiate licensing, and whoever else is involved to ensure that that only licensed vendors are present and selling official merchandise?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because even though the university is actually on winter break, as of today, I was actually checking a vendor that is actually selling the championship shirts. So that the job never ends. Even though the university is closed, it's continuous. We have vendors that are actually requesting for approval of their merchandise for the championship shirts. On the game days, I actually go out from one vendor. Well, I actually go out on the Friday before each game. I check vendors then as they're setting up to make sure that those vendors that are actually setting up are licensed vendor through the collegiate licensing company for Florida A&M University. I then again go back on game day with the same thing, checking each vendor, because we have some vendors that are late setting up. Now, if these vendors are not licensed, then possibly, a lot of times I have the police department with me to assist with those vendors that are not licensed. If those vendors are not licensed, then we actually ask them to cease and desist and ask them to leave the premises until they become licensed. And vendors, those that are wishing to sell the intellectual merchandise using the intellectual property of the university, they can become licensed through the collegiate licensing company by going to clc.com and completing the online application.
Okay.
So I want to clarify. So everybody on game day is that, to the best of your knowledge, that we, you know, they're all licensed vendors. Because I think a lot of times people have run with this theory that everybody selling around Bragg Stadium is just running wild doing their own thing. But I just want to, you said that, and I'm like, hey, let's emphasize that and shut that myth down, that everybody who's out there is licensed, and if they're not, you got the police rolling with you.
And that is absolutely correct. The merchandise for those licensed vendors, they have to submit that merchandise prior to producing it for approval. So anything that those vendors have, they have to submit it for approval through the CLC portal. So I see everything that comes through for those licensed vendors. So during game day, I can almost recognize everything that I have approved. Not only that, they also have to have a code, if you will, that is placed on all merchandise for licensed vendors. So anything that these vendors have, like I said, I can almost recognize everything that I have approved. There are those vendors now that do try and get by and say, well, hey, I did not know, which some cases it may be true. And then there are those that are, just trying to go against the grain and trying to do it their way.
And eventually, it sounds like eventually they will get caught. If you didn't get caught today, you eventually gonna get caught. It sounds like.
And not just eventually. There are times where, just like the past couple of games, I have actually gone through. I've warned a vendor or vendors and said, "Hey, this is not licensed. Can you take it down?" Okay, they agreed to take it down. I said, "Now, if I come back, I'm coming back with the police. And you're going to have to we can confiscate it or you can take it down and leave the premises until you become licensed." So I have had that time where I've actually gone back to a vendor and they have actually put that unlicensed merchandise back up, and we have had to take it down. We've also confiscated merchandise.
The chat room is, Marcus, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get you in here, and it's the chat room's buzzing because they want to know about Perry Street.
Brian, part of my question involves all of that from Kenya.
Okay, well, I'll get out of the way. I'll get out of the way.
Yeah. Just
go ahead.
Ms. Thompson, thank you for coming on. And this has been a subject that's been, and Kelvin can tell you, from back in the pit, which is our little private forum that we've been on for like 15, 20 years. This is one of my things about cracking down on licensing. Can you re-emphasize to our audience the importance of buying licensed material? The second part of that, and I've noticed it since Saturday coming back from the game, what I call like the bootleg and juke joint stuff, even some of the images, and I've seen, I don't know, I guess they're bots on Twitter or whatever, the images from the game or even some of the graphics that Josh has put out. I've seen these bot websites grab those images, slap them on a t-shirt and trying to market it as official FAMU gear or buy a t-shirt. So how do we stop I don't know how I want to phrase it, but how do we attack that in conjunction with emphasizing to folks? And we FAMU folks like to be creative and be unique and just come up with stuff, stem the tide of us being so creative such that it undermines the money coming back to FAMU and not going to these bot websites and all these other things. So it's kind of a combination, but I guess primarily is emphasizing the importance of making sure we're buying licensed material.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that, because all proceeds, all royalties received from the sale of merchandise from licensed vendors. Right now, we receive 12%. We're getting ready to increase that to approximately 15%. And all those royalties, the funds received from royalties, they go towards assistance with providing scholarship for students in athletics. So it's very important for people to buy licensed merchandise.
Okay, and I guess to follow up in terms of, is there any way to stop like the bots or anything from just grabbing stuff? I know we put it out there, and I do have a second question. I don't want to monopolize it from Kelvin, but I need to ask this second question after Kelvin asks his. But it's kind of people want to buy, especially now with the frenzies going on. And we knew with everything that transpired within the SWAC and the offseason in terms of coaching changes that FAMU was going to be the spotlight. So it became even more important and critical that clamps are down on those type things. I'll come back and ask my second question after Kelvin asks his.
No. Let her answer that. But no, I know a lot of this, and I can talk to her anytime. So have at it.
Okay. Well, currently I am working with this collegiate licensing company. We're trying to come up with a system that they actually already have in place. So I'm working with athletics to see if the university can take part in this, whereas this system will go on all social media avenues and find anything using the university's logos and shut it down. And I am very excited about that. I'm anxious to get started with that because right now my job with hitting social media, I really have a hard time hitting everything. But believe it or not, we have those good old faithful alums, friends, supporters that will call me, email me, say, hey, I see a vendor on Adam Street. Is that vendor licensed? So I get that all the time, and I appreciate that because I cannot see everything. And trying to shut down social media, as soon as I get one social media outlet shut down, another one pops up. I work with the general counsel's office, David Self. He is great. He helps me out as well with sending out cease and desist letters. So we are really working hard trying to get all of this under control.
Okay. And my second question, and this is kind of harking back to my days from 15, 20 years ago when I had Photoshop. You know, I consider myself somewhat of a creator, at least back then. I know there's people who run circles around me now in Photoshop. But if I wanted to not necessarily create a product like a t-shirt, because I don't want to deal with all the manufacturing and all that stuff. But if I have an idea or creative idea for, I guess, not a logo design per se, but like a commemorative patch or something that I would like the university to approve for someone else to put on merchandise or something. I know it kind of throws a wrench in the process, but does it still work the same way?
Okay, now when you say produce it for someone, create it for someone else to use.
Yes, like say, like my former side hustle, whatever you want to call it, was creating logos and stuff for small businesses. And there are a couple little designs I have on a hard drive somewhere, some FAMU stuff, but I knew it wasn't licensed, so I was like, I'll just keep it on the side. But if I wanted to say, hey, Coach Simmons, how about a commemorative patch to go on a helmet with like a little Rattler and something symbolic? But so I wouldn't necessarily put it in a product, but it would be something intellectual property that I created with the university's marks for the university to use at their leisure, or if it were to be accepted as a university mark, that some other vendor could put it on a t-shirt.
Okay, that will still have to go through for approval. It may not, because you're not trying to become a licensed vendor. However, you're just trying to, I won't say become a partner with the university, but you just want to create something for the university that they may possibly use. You would still have to get that approved. We would go through again with licensing. We'd also go through the Office of Communications, which also assists with creating the logos particularly for the university. So a lot of the logos that you see for the university and for different events, those are created by the Office of Communications. So we would go through the Office of Communications, the legal office, athletics, and of course the licensing.
Okay, so you would still have to go through the licensing and the licensing fee in order to submit it as a potential design?
You're not you in particular, since you're trying to submit it to someone else to possibly use. Like you say, you're trying to produce it for athletics. And if athletics likes it, then they could potentially use it on helmets, a jacket, or what have you. It was still not necessarily you would have to go through CLC, because basically what you're trying to do is just become a partner with athletics. But we still have to give approval of whatever that logo is. We're not necessarily, you would have to go through CLC because you're not trying to sell it.
Yes. So then say if, I don't know, if the design was just the bomb and somebody some large firm or mid-sized firm said, okay, I want to use this created design for that, then they would have to, if they weren't already licensed, they would have to go through CLC to license to use it, because you've now adopted as an option for official logos on some other stuff.
Right.
Okay. Okay, that clarifies. All right, thank you.
As a matter of fact, we're working on something now that for that same, with someone wanting to do the same thing.
Okay.
So, Sabrina, where you mentioned people contacting you when they find questionable items, how can they do that? How, if they, I mean, I don't know if is there an email address, a text line? How can people reach out to you or your department when they have a question or they find something that's like, hey, I don't know if this is something that I should buy?
And I would love that. And they can reach me at via email at sabrina.thompson@famu.edu, or you can reach me in the office at area code 850-412-5375. And sometimes I'm on social media and I see a lot of information or objects or product that's on social media, especially on the alumni page, and I will comment to that and tell them, how they can contact me with any questions about that.
Okay.
Ms. Thompson, I have a quick question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kelvin.
No, I was just going to tell Brian, I put a link to the website in the private chat.
Okay.
So that they can look up some of that information from the university website too.
Gotcha. Appreciate it. I'm gonna post that in the chat. Okay.
Okay. And they can also go to clc.com.
Ms. Thompson, I had a quick question for you, and it just came in my mind. A lot of high school athletes or even transfer athletes may use the school's logos that they find on the web as a part of their announcement for, say, they want to come to FAMU, and you'll see the snake head and all this other stuff, and sometimes the word mark. How does that fall into the area of responsibility that you have? They're not necessarily selling anything, but it still could border on appropriate or inappropriate usage of the intellectual property of the university. And I don't know how all schools do it, how they handle it, whether they let it go because it's kids being kids, or if they send a cease and desist, or like, hey, you're kind of on the edge there, don't be using our stuff inappropriately. And how does that work for, say, recruits and some of these graphic designers that have become like a little niche market of creating the announcements on social media for these student athletes?
Okay. Well, for the most part, for a lot of the recruits, a lot of times our actual staff is somewhere involved with those students that are being recruited to FAMU. So we do allow, how can I say this? If they're saying, hey, I just got admitted to FAMU, I'm going to be on the FAMU football team, I'm going to be a part of the Rattlers, something like that, we usually let that go because it's not basically intended for sale.
Okay.
That makes sense. How long? Okay, so, and I put that link out there. How large of a staff or department do you have that works with you, Sabrina?
You're looking at her.
That smile said, I am the staff.
Okay.
Now, question: are there any folks in the graphic, in the School of Journalism, Media, and Graphic Arts that are interested in the legal side that could perhaps intern with you to lend support?
I actually have not spoken with anyone in the School of Journalism. We do, the Office of Communications actually has a graphic designer that we kind of work together on different things. So, but it's specifically the School of Journalism and students, no, sir.
Oh. Well, not necessarily on the design aspect, but if they wanted to get in the legal aspect, like license management, and partner with you to say, look out for things, and perhaps, someone of that younger demographic, which I'm not a part of, could monitor the social media and be some eyes and ears and have some tricks of the trade that might aid in policing illegal usage.
That would be great. But for the most part, a lot of those offenders are students themselves.
It be your own.
Yeah.
It be your own. What's that? Is that it be your own people, right?
Yes. So I mean, that would be great.
Mhm.
Just for someone to kind of follow me to see how it works and learn the correct ways to produce merchandise
Mm-hmm.
and how to become licensed.
And Jimmy Mack's kind of speaking on that. He's talking about getting criminal justice students, perhaps as well. I mean, that was kind of along the lines of, and I don't know if they're more involved wanting to be FBI agents versus something that would someone who'd be more akin to licensure and U.S. Patent Office type stuff. But you never know. Just see if it sticks.
Okay.
So thank you for answering all my questions.
Yes, sir. You are welcome.
Sabrina, I wanna wrap it up with I know if that site for all of you who have put the site in the chat, there's a great listing of not only Tallahassee area vendors, there's also some web links of FAMU gear where you can be purchased. What about and just has there been or where can we find the Celebration Bowl or national champs? Has anybody put together an aggregated list of vendors and shops that have submitted ideas and designs that you have approved? Because I know that's the hunt right now. Everybody's hunting for gear, and so the hard part is you want to find something, you want to see it, but then you're balancing with the licensing and making sure that's money going back. So is there anything like that you can share? And if not, maybe it's something that's being worked on that we can share at a later date.
Currently, I do not have a list because I do have quite a few vendors that have requested to produce championship shirts. However, because of the way that those shirts and that merchandise is designed, I had to disapprove it because of the Cricket Celebration Bowls logo and so forth. And unless you are licensed with the Cricket Bowl, you cannot use their logo at all.
Okay.
That's the same thing with the swag. Unless you're licensed with swag, you cannot use their actual logo.
So what's the question? What's the question that if I'm bumping around, I see something online. What's the question that I should ask a vendor or a website to find out whether they are or are not licensed?
Are you a licensed vendor for FAMU?
Period.
Is there anything that, like, now I know the CLC, like on, at least they used to, and I think they still do. They had their little seal, I guess, like a holographic seal that looked like a college seal.
Yes, the hologram tag. Yes, it's
how could we,
tag.
For online purchases, if we can't touch and feel the product, how do we, to Brian's question, how could we do that online versus in the store?
Because what I can do is provide a list of vendors, period, that are actually licensed, but I can do that at a later date. I don't have them on hand, but I can produce a list of licensed vendors, and you can use those vendors. For the most part, you can see online, some of them will actually say licensed by the Collegiate Licensing Company. So you'll be able to see that. And a lot of them, if you ask anything about the Collegiate License Company, they don't even know what it is.
They don't get a reply. If you don't get a reply, if you don't get a reply, that's a hint. They're telling you.
Yes.
And also, I would add, you mentioned that little seal markers when you order your product. If it comes and you don't see that little sticker, hey, send it back. Send it back, because obviously at that point you bought it. And so, but if you were true about buying licensed official stuff and you don't see that little sticker,
the hologram tag,
send it back, because that I know for a fact that little hologram sticker, you gotta go through hoops to get it. I know. But that they make you put that on every officially licensed merchandise. So that's something to remember when you guys are ordering online, and when it comes in the mail and you don't see it, hey, put it right back in and send it back to them. Say, hey, you guys aren't licensed, send it back.
And that's one of the things I also check for when I'm checking vendors as well, to make sure they have hologram tag. if you're not a licensed vendor, then you won't have any hologram tags.
Right. Sabrina, appreciate you coming on. This has
Yes,
been very
Yes.
cool, very informative. Anytime you have some information that you want to share, obviously you know how to reach Kelvin, and we will put that out there. We will help you. We'll be your foot soldiers or internet
Thank
foot
you.
soldiers. However you
Thank
want us to do it, we would love to help. Because we all, I think some of the great people that we have in the chat, I mean, we got people in there who they have great collections of gear, and they want to buy licensed stuff to make sure it comes back to FAMU. So there's a great marketplace out there, and we want to make sure everybody's doing right by our university.
Yes.
So anything we can do to help, please reach out and let us know in the future. Okay.
Yes, sir. And I really, really appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed.
Thank
yes,
you.
indeed.
And you done good. You done real good.
I was nervous.
Yeah, you were great. You were great. Sabrina.thompson@famu.edu. If you got any questions, that's the email address, sabrina.thompson@famu.edu. Reach out to Miss Sabrina and go from there. And again, that shirt that you see that she's wearing, she got it from where again, Sabrina?
Sam's.
That's Sam's. All right, boy. I got to come to Tallahassee. I can't get my Sam's in Orlando. I got to come to Tallahassee, Sam, to get the good stuff. I tell you what, man. Anyway, hey, thank you for joining us tonight, Sabrina. You have a good night.
And
all
you
right.
all too. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Great stuff from Sabrina. Let's take a break. Come back. We got our media roundtable coming up in the next segment. More great info to share with you guys. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button in the chat room or the like button if you're watching on Facebook. Share the show, retweet it. Let Rattler Nation know who we are, where we are, and we appreciate it. So more to come here in just a moment. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Marcus, Kelvin, and I gotta make sure because I don't know who our fourth is. So Marcus confirmed. I got 3 here with me. We got Rory Sharrock down in the bottom left square, center square under me. You got Zach McKinnell, the Bluebloods, and then bottom right square, probably on location, on the move. That's Gerald Thomas of the Tallahassee Democrat. And I've got one other in the chat room. I don't know if that's Alison Posey or not. And Marcus, can you look and research that? Or Alison, if that's you, can you give us a heads up or maybe send us a chat and let us know you're there? I don't want to put anybody on the show that's going to nuke the show. So I got to make sure that's who it's supposed to be. Gentlemen, how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you guys having us.
What's up, man? Thank you so much for being back on the set.
Yes, indeed. GT3, where are you at an undisclosed location?
What's going on? I'm actually heading back to Savannah. I'm riding down I-95 right now. I don't know if y'all can see me. Y'all know I'm not. I'm still made it on the show.
Man, I love it. See, this is the love that y'all have for us. The fact that y'all will jump on like you're on the road, but it's like, yo, I got to get on the show, and I appreciate that. That's dedication, Gerald. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. All right, Florida A&M Rattlers, undisputed HBCU National Champions, Celebration Bowl champions. Rory, I'll start with you. We'll kind of just go from left to right here on our television or our screen for those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube and maybe even watching us later. Rory, what are some of the instant thoughts? You were there, you've seen it, you've been with these guys all season, just like this. But what are some of your thoughts as you watch those closing moments of the game on Saturday?
Validation, and Coach Simmons always talks about his 7 F's, and one of them is finish. And you think about, I came here in 2018. That was his first season, and they were poised to go to the Celebration Bowl, but Howard started the beginning of the end of that 3-game slide in DC that they lost, and they didn't make it that year. But this year, to see with all of the talent that they had, teams we know, like a couple of years ago, remember when Golden State Warriors beat the Chicago Bulls record for the most wins in the season, and they lost to the Cavs in the finals. A lot of teams may have the best record, but don't finish. But this team finished, in the way that they did it, it was just really a sight to see. And I'm so glad that I was a part of just covering history.
Well said, man. You brought up a memory.
Yeah.
That's right. It was Howard that started that slide. You're right.
Howard has wrecked a few of our battleships over the years.
But Howard is also a part of the 20-game winning streak at Bragg, because they came here in 19 and they got the brakes beat off of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, but Howard was like that game in 2018. I can't remember who it was, whether it was I want to say it was Joe Taylor, but it might have been Earl Holmes. We lost homecoming, I think around 2012, 2013. And the one that sticks in my craw was the one like 2003 during our transition season, and that what I call controversial missed field goal when we played them at a Green Stadium. Ooh, I was hot. So yeah, they've had a history of giving us an L.
Zach,
not often though.
Not often, but they got a few memorable wins on us. Zach, I go back to our conversation back at SWAC Media Day, and this was right after the whole the rap video thing. And man, a lot of people were wondering. They were like, "Oh, how connected is this team? What kind of man? Who's running the ship for that team?" And so looking at the perception of things all the way back to SWAC Media Day to this game Saturday. What's your thoughts on what this team accomplished?
I think the best word for it is just validation, in my opinion. Obviously, everyone knew FAM was the top team in the conference, but even with all the talent, all the success that Willie's had, there was always that conversation. There was always going to be, until he won the SWAC championship and the Celebration Bowl, of, can he win the big one? Or is it going to be that same tiresome narrative? You guys heard it, man. Willie's talked about it in interviews, that whole Willie's going to Willie thing. Now that has a completely different meaning in terms of going to actually win the championship. I think, Brian, me and you talked, this was the most talented team on paper in the conference coming into the year. There was no reason for this team not to end the season as the champions. And I think you saw them check off all the boxes. And I'll say the biggest thing for me with this team was just how underrated the defense was, because you always heard about Moussa. You always heard about the athleticism at wide receiver, the athleticism in the secondary, but you never heard about the complete total dominance of that defense. I mean, it finished number 2 in the country in almost every major statistical category. I mean, they're probably the second best defense in the country, right next to the team who I think is probably going to win the other national championship at the FCS level, South Dakota State. To be in the conversation with that defense is insane. And for Willie, man, the emotions I saw on the sideline, and I know you guys saw the picture, not just the hug to the assistant, but that one on that one knee where he's just covering his face. You could tell that build up for that championship, that win probably meant more to Willie Simmons than any win might ever feel in his career. Even if he goes on to win maybe bigger games, that one might mean the most to him when he ends up retiring way down the line.
That's true. Powerful words.
It's the first. You're right.
Yeah, it's always the first. Gerald, you've been in the trenches with these guys, waking up at 6 in the morning or getting there at 6 in the morning. I saw you there late, writing the final stories. After we were heading off to go celebrate, man, you guys are still working up there in the press box. Talk a little bit about this team and what they accomplished and what you saw from them on Saturday.
Yeah, man. It was a great year. It was a remarkable year. And like you said, man, I just been grinding the whole year. I've been out there since last spring, throughout training camp. I'm out there sweating it out with them every day, going through practice, waking up early. It kind of felt good to see them, go out there and hoist the trophy. And, I've been saying it all week. I said, man, this might be my most favorite game I've covered, just because it was to a point where it's like, you don't know who's going to win this thing. When FAMU scored the second consecutive touchdown of trying to put the game away, I said, oh, Howard done it. I said, they done. They done took the life out of him. Then the pick 6 happened. And I said, I don't know if they're going to pull it out. But, just like you said, those 7 L's, and that L finish. And honestly, that L faith, you go down and you still believe in yourself, go down 14-0. Because when they went down 14-0, I automatically thought about the Texas Southern game. I said, they've been down like this before. And they was down at Texas Southern. This is a neutral site game. So, just to see them go out there and show that perseverance and put it all together to get the victory and see the confetti fall on them, it just was a remarkable year. One of the, people will talk about this team for years to come.
Indeed. Kelvin, go ahead. What do you got for our round table?
I want to know what they think about this team's legacy, right? They were favored to be the best team in HBCU football since the beginning of the season. They end up only having 2 games that they won less than double digits. And they gave a pretty solid South Florida team fits. They didn't have an opportunity because the schedule was the schedule. So we didn't play a FCS opponent, which I would have loved to see, but it was a fairly dominant team, right? And I think the word that the guests use are perfect, when you talk about finish and faith. This team, they just won games, and they always played where no matter what was going on, they just played through things, right? And anytime they had any adversity that come, they answer the call every time, usually immediately. So I just from a legacy standpoint, where does this team rank? Say, with the other Jackson States, the two Jackson State teams that didn't finish, the great North Carolina A&T team. I know Blue, you cover FCS period. So what do I love to hear what you think where the team fit. I know they're going to finish top 5 probably, but what do you think they what is their legacy for this year among FCS schools?
Ooh, I mean, to answer your first question in terms of legacy, I think I think you got to look at them as the standards, the setting the standard team. Because I looked 2 years ago. Let's go. I like to look at teams in groups. The team that went on to Southeast Eastern Louisiana and lost, that was the team that was one game away and was like, okay, we can compete in the SWAC. Let's see where this team stacks up in terms of championship football. It didn't go well. The next year, they came back motivated, one game away. I think that playoff snub gave them extra motivation this year. And then going into this year, because Brian, I told you a media day from August to the end of the season, Willie Simmons had a different swagger, confidence, vibe around him than 2 years ago. He came into the season, he didn't say it. He's not as braggadocious as some other coaches. If he was honest, he would have went to media day and said, none of these guys stand a chance. Because that's how he felt. You could see it in his eyes. You could hear it in his tone. But in terms of the FCS, I agree. I think in my final poll, because we haven't submitted a poll since the last week of the regular season because we don't vote every week. But I want to say FAMU was somewhere in my top 10. I don't know exactly where. But I look at some of the playoff performances, some teams getting upset. You look at like a Montana State getting knocked out in the second round, given it was to North Dakota State, but that was a true disappointment. Idaho losing to UAlbany. UAlbany getting beat by 59 points to South Dakota State, which I don't hold that a lot against them. But I think FAMU should be right there in that conversation for, I think somewhere 3 through 5. I'll be honest, it's hard to project because there's 57 voters, so I can't guess perfectly, but I would imagine I would be shocked if FAMU's not somewhere between 4 and 6. If they're any lower than that, listen, I'll be the first one to come out and say some voters got it wrong and they need to watch more film, because what a lot of voters do is they'll look at that strength of schedule, which wasn't good, but I don't care, man. This team was 12-1, won all but one game of the regular season by double digits, and then won the HBCU National Championship by 4. And if you watch the game, they dominated it. I know. I think it was G talking about that game was back and forth. It really wasn't. If it Willie said the 59-3 was self-inflicted, the 30-26 was self-inflicted because that thing could have been a blowout. Howard only scored 3 offensive points on full drives. 21 points were set up by special teams or turnovers, and then they had the safety, which that was just that's the one play call I know Willie wishes he had back in that situation, because Moussa just didn't read it right, took way too long in the pocket. But this team was the trendsetter and set the standard for this program, because if they go on to win 1, 2, 3 more SOC championships, this was the dynasty starting team for FAMU.
Zach, quick question. I'd like for you to elaborate. This isn't my question, but I'm glad you mentioned that there were 57 other voters, because I've seen grumblings from FAMU people, of course, feeling we're getting slighted. How it works, it's not, it's like a points accumulation type thing.
Yeah, it's so every conference gets to pick representatives. So I want to say Andrew Roberts is one of the voters, or he was last year at least. Stephen Gaither votes. He's like one of the national HBCU guys. So the SWAC, I want to say, had 3 representatives last year. I want to say they have 2 or 3. So every conference has 2 to 3 representatives. And then there's just a national media panel just from different, the Craig Haley, Sam Herters, myself, Stephen Gaithers, guys like that. So I think it's a fair assessment. I will say I've been just as critical of the voting as anyone has. And I know Brian's probably heard me sometimes go on these rants. I mean, I've ranted about it, because the problem is, I understand they want a diverse voting panel, but I would rather it be smaller, because I can tell you guys right now, I got 10 guys that I trust watch enough national games across the FCS to really have a vote. The rest of those guys, G's on this show with us. Ask him how much time, if he was a voter, he had time to watch Montana State this year. He's in the press box all night. So some of these SIDs to be on the board, I promise you, Josh is, in my opinion, the best SID in the FCS. I guarantee Josh does not have time to go watch 30 games on a Saturday or do research. So I think take the SIDs off, pick a strong panel of 10 to 15 national media guys that don't have any tied interest. Listen, I don't root for a certain school. Like, I don't have a tied interest into a school winning. Same for Sam Herder, Stephen Gaither. Pick some unbiased guys, get a strong group of 10 to 15. I think your poll is way more accurate. And I think you get the same thing with the coaches poll. You got to see Willie's schedule. If I know Willie's not the SWAC representative, I know who it is. I've talked to him. He's told me, he was like, dude, I don't care. He goes, I give this to an assistant in the office and he votes. That's why I don't take the coaches poll seriously. Because I guarantee you guys, Willie Simmons isn't going home on Saturday night to go research for his top 25 ballot for the coaches poll. So I think you got to figure something out there. So I think 10 to 15, one poll. Let's just get that done.
Love it. Love it.
Yep. And that poll represents basically out of the 57 people where that team ranks, and I guess it's an aggregate of where they are.
Yeah,
so it's
so
not not like, okay, we beat this team, but how did they get ahead of us? Or this team lost. If team X, and I'm just gonna pick somebody, say from the Big Sky, they may have lost that weekend, but enough people thought that was a quality loss, and FAMU or Jackson State won, they could still be ranked ahead of us, ahead of FAMU or Jackson State, even though they won, because of the number of votes they got or where they were rated or ranked in the cumulative spot that they landed in. So that's where I think folks, they look at it as a black and white in terms of, okay, well, we tough. Beat them. Yeah, we beat they lost, we won. Why aren't we ahead of them? But no, it's not as simple because it's the aggregate points of where the 57 folks ranked them for that given week.
So number one gets 25 points, and then it just works its way down until you get to 25 and they get 1 point. So it's just, you get weird voting artifacts like that. Like, I mean, just basic statistics are like, man, if one guy screws it up by putting someone like last year, no offense to Jackson, this was before Jackson really got rolling. They were giving, like, someone was giving Jackson first place votes in like week 5. And I'm like, what are we doing? And they're like 16th in the country with a first place vote, and it screws up everything. So all it takes is for some guys not to believe Montana State should drop after a quality loss, and they're only going to drop 2 or 3 spots because of that.
Okay.
Gerald, coming back to the legacy question, if you come back in, Gerald, and then we'll go to Rory.
As far as legacy, I'm new to FAMU, so I don't want to speak on the teams, from 1978 and Billy Joel's teams. But this team, like I said, a lot of people will talk about this team for years to come. And like Zach said, this is a trend-setting team. Out of all of those years, 2018, like Rory said, had a chance to go to the Celebration Bowl until Howard. 2019 would have went to the Celebration Bowl, but self-imposed bad, postseason bad. And it's now like they finally broke through. They finally finished the story. So, like I said, it's a team that's 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, this is gonna be one of those teams that's getting honored by those current FAMU teams. And like I said, this team is gonna go down in history. And the good thing about this team is that it has its stars, but it's really a cohesion between the team. It's not just one guy that's out here that's getting all the shine. There's a lot of good players on the team, so I think that's what makes the team so good too, because you just don't have one standout. You have everybody just putting it in together, and that ultimately led them to the championship.
Good point. How about you, Rory, on the question of legacy? And I know you get a chance to talk to old school Rattlers as well, and have delved into those history books.
I think the legacy might be a little bit premature because we're still in the infancy. It hasn't even been a full 7 days since the confetti fell at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But I think that this is the trendsetter. They are the standard bearers. And if we are, 2-3 years from now talking about multiple championships, then we can say, okay, the legacy started December 16, 2023 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with the 30-26 win over Howard. This is great, and it's historic, and it deserves its proper setting and perspective. But for the word legacy, it might be a bit premature because it's as for where we are right now, it's the only thing that we can base it off. You know, obviously the 78 team to win the national championship is the standard. And then FAMU has multiple HBCU national championships that now I think this last one marked number 15, which is a lot. Some schools don't even have one. So but FAMU is a standard. It's one of the blue bloods in HBCU football, and it's one of the elite programs in college football at any level. But for this discussion, as far as legacy, it might be a bit premature because we don't have much to base it off yet.
And I'm going to add to that because I think it's interesting, and you made me think about this, Rory. When I think about what, 30 some odd players, seniors, or Marcus, what I heard Al Chester say it was like in the mid 30s, or how many seniors or guys that we're losing. That's a core group that has been a part of the past 2 to 3 years. So we're talking, like I said, a playoff run, a playoff snub to not, I mean.
Well, I'm only saying that because there are a couple of seniors who transferred in this year and may only have had 1 year of eligibility. Not
right,
a lot.
That would be the end. But that group, but again, in total, you're talking about a 3-year cycle. We might look at this and say this is the end of a 3-year cycle. I can see that now. I can see that. And hopefully going forward, because we're going to be starting brand new with a new quarterback next year. And I think that almost starts to, and maybe if it ends up being somebody that's been in the room for the last 2 years, maybe that is the bridge. But like if it's somebody totally new, I mean, we might be talking about something totally different as it relates to legacy of this team, Go ahead with your question, Marcus.
Well, that was kind of a good lead, and I was going to ask, and I guess Rory, between Rory and yourself, you kind of abridged it a little bit in terms of the success that we've seen over the last couple of years with, I believe, we're 23-2 or something like that. I can't remember the number, over the last 2 years, and in terms of, I guess, in SWAC play, and how sustainable I guess I have a double question. How sustainable do you think it is? And this is not calling, Coach Simmons or anyone else into question, but in terms of, we're riding the high now. We're less than a week from the championship, and we've been close the last couple of years with only a 1 conference loss in 21 and 22. But going forward, objectively, what do you see? Do you see this team continuing to, maybe not at the same pace, but continuing to be at the upper echelon in terms of the SWAC and perhaps cracking through and getting some national respect as it relates to the FCS voting? And I guess the second part, I guess for you, Zach, specifically, since you're more national in terms of the accomplishments of this year and the statistical accolades that the team has achieved, especially on the defense, what do you believe will be the perception going forward? And I know we asked this during the mid-season roundtable. We wanted to see if anything has changed or if you've heard or gotten intel on terms of the perception of the program.
I definitely think that this is something that can be sustainable. If you look at North Carolina A&T before bolting from the MEAC, they had a great run. They dominated the Celebration Bowl. You could have jokingly called it the A&T Invitational, and whoever you put in front of them in the Celebration Bowl, they took care of their business. I happened to be at that Grambling State game in, I think that was 17, and Grambling was a force, and I didn't think that they were going to lose that game, and A&T beat them. So that's one example of where a team can dominate not only their conference but national championships. And if you take a look at the SWAC, FAMU beat Prairie View A&M to win the SWAC championship. Prairie View won the West, I think like 2 of the last 4 years. So you beat a team that was used to playing in this game. They didn't win it, unfortunately, for them. But FAMU handedly beat them for homecoming. Weather delay or not, they were going to win that game, and they took care of their business in the championship game. Jackson State, before this past season, won 2 SWAC, not only East Divisions, but the conference as well. So, and then FAMU took care of business against them week 1 and in the Orange Blossom Classic. So, although they have the target on their back and everybody in their recruiting efforts in the conference is what do we need to do to beat FAMU? What type of player? That's the players they're going after. People see what the Rattlers did this year. Willie Simmons is a great coach. He has a great staff. And so outside of self-inflicted wounds, I don't see this run stopping anytime soon. I think that it may not be they're at 20 wins in a row at home. We might not see like 40 wins or even 30 wins or what have you. But the goal is to get to December. And I think that this team, this program is more than capable of doing that beyond this season.
Yeah.
Let me go to Gerald. Let's go Gerald, and then Zach, let you kind of finish that question up there.
Yeah, and the thing I add is that, it's very sustainable because, you got guys with championship experience now, and that's a very important thing. And I know FAMU, they're losing a lot of players, from this past season, a lot of staples that, really contributed over the past few years. But I believe they had 13 all SWAC selections. Like 7 of those guys are returning. And, of course, through the portal, people are going to come in. You see they're signing people now. People are announcing their commitment. So it's going to be a new look team. But, just going to next season, you'll have a lot of those guys that play integral pieces into this championship run be back and, kind of can assist and push those guys to say, all right, we're trying to make it to December. And I think that'll be a very good thing for them, that they'll kind of have a form of continuity, but also a new look team at the same time.
Okay. Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, I think FAMU has an interesting advantage over a lot of teams in terms of building something like that we would consider a dynasty-like approach. Is Willie Simmons is great at quarterback evals. And replacing the quarterback has been the death of so many dynasties and so many repeat champions. Is when you lose that quarterback, that coach isn't able to replicate that magic. You got the one-hit wonders where they'll land on a generational quarterback. Like when Grambling hit on Kincaid, they were rolling. And then once Kincaid left, that program hit a strong nosedive after that. So quarterbacks drive championships, especially at the FCS level. If you got a good quarterback, you're going to go win the championship most of the time. But Willie has a history of finding successful quarterbacks. He has a streak now. Now, I know not everyone's been a huge fan of Moussa at all times. They weren't a fan of McKay at all times. And going back even further than that, everyone's had their critiques, but they've been a top 2-3 quarterback in the SWAC consistently. And I think I trust Willie to find one. If he nails his quarterback eval like I expect him to do, FAMU's got to be the favorite because you kind of look, the West is chaos right now. Texas Southern doesn't have a coach. Alcorn has a first-time head coach. Southern's new head coach. Grambling new head coach. UAPB is not even close to competing right now. So you're kind of looking at it's going to be PV for the foreseeable future right now, unless one of these first-year head coaches explodes onto the scene, which is possible. I won't rule that out, but I favor FAMU all of them. It really looks like in the East too, FAMU followed by Jackson and Bama State. That's really it. Mainer's kind of on the downturn right now. There's a lot of people that want him out of there after next year, which his contract expires. So we could see something similar to McKinnell this year, where they just let it expire and they go in a new direction if they don't rebound. Valley and Bethune are leaps and bounds away from actually competing for a championship. So, and then Alabama State has that quarterback question mark. really and truly. And I don't know if they have a championship quarterback in the room, and we don't know what Jackson's quarterback is going to look like, because obviously they're probably going to roll with Jacoby and Morgan. We haven't seen them against FAM. I think it's going to come down over the next 2 years or so to Jackson versus FAM. And right now, due to continuity and due to the head coach, I favor Willie and FAMU. So I think they can continue it. And I know the follow-up question was FCS perception. I don't see why this team wouldn't be looked upon favorably. I know, at least in my eyes, they will be. They're going to be a top preseason team, in my opinion, depending on, positional battles and stuff, but they're going to be loaded. Like G said, you don't have that many all SWAC selections without having talent. And I know people are saying, FAM's losing a lot and all this. You guys also return a lot of key pieces. Offensive line, if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Dunn's coming back, who just bullied an NFL prospect for 60 minutes on national TV and is going to be one of my favorite players going into next year, probably a preseason All-American. So they have all the pieces there, and I'm not expecting a large staff turnover. I know you guys probably aren't. I haven't really heard anything. Staff continuity, and you nail the quarterback eval. That's in the equation for a repeat championship.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Gerald, wasn't Anthony Dunn your preseason? You called that on Anthony Dunn in the preseason, if I'm not mistaken. That was your guy, wasn't it?
You're on mute. Gerald's on mute.
Yeah, he's probably driving too. So I
Yes.
don't know.
He might be in a dead spot.
Yeah, he might be there.
We'll just give him credit for it. He can't speak for himself, but we'll give him credit for it.
I recall him talking about him, so I'm pretty sure, because didn't Dunn have the good Florida Classic game last year?
Yeah, he had 3 sacks.
And I know he was high on him. So let's go to this. We got just a few minutes here left with you guys. The future, we're still, like I said, we're still enjoying this, but with National Signing Day, you got to start processing the future and what the future is going to look like. So I'm going to go, Rory, Zach, Gerald, what are one or two things that FAMU has to address off-season, spring ball, to maintain this level of excellence, and this championship level of play? Start with you, Rory.
Sorry about that. I think the main thing is the carrot on the stick, because they know that they're talented enough, and that's the mission for the coaching staff and the players, to push all the right buttons, know when to go hard on the guys, know when to pull back, because starting from Saturday afternoon around 4:30, whatever, 5 o'clock, until forever, you're just going to hear, man, you guys are great. Y'all did this, y'all did that. And we're human beings. You hear it enough, you're going to start smelling yourself. So what can they do to be like, yeah, that was cool, but there's no 24-hour rule like from week to week. So when it's time to put on all the off-season workouts that start in January, when spring ball starts in March, and then when fall camp starts in August, how can we, all right, yeah, that was cool. Thank you. That was last year. This is this year. I'm hungry. I'm not a one and done dude. You know what I mean? I want more. So that aggression and that hunger is the main thing, because we're saying it here that there shouldn't be nothing stopping them from being in the same position next year this time, except for themselves. So how can they maintain that hunger to build upon this so that it won't be premature when we start throwing out the L word in legacy?
That's a great point. Zach, how about you?
Yeah, you guys know this. I'm obsessed with offensive line, so it's offensive line. I don't care how good your offensive line is. If you're not signing 3 to 4 guys a class, you're going to end up having a problem. Like, when I look at it, that's a position that you want tiered, kind of where you want some guys who are coming back with a lot of experience. You want those redshirt sophomores, freshmen, possibly juniors to be stepping into those positions. You've got some redshirt freshmen who might be able to be a backup or play in key moments. Then you want to bring in that 4 or 5 person signing class to be the future of that program, learn under those experienced guys. When you look at roster construction, especially in the FCS where you have a limited scholarships, that becomes a problem because people like to load up on skill players. And listen, I get it. They're exciting. It's fun to announce that you got the next, whoever it may be at wide receiver who can run a 4.3 and go put up 20 touchdowns. But if you aren't blocking for that quarterback, that kid's not getting the ball. So offensive line, I want to see them add some more depth there. I think obviously the big question mark is quarterback. Do they have someone in the room that they trust, or are they bringing in someone that Willie likes a little bit more? I know they landed the transfer quarterback today, and I got word that apparently Willie's really high on him. It'll be interesting to see where he falls into that. And then I think another thing is defensive tackle as well as another place I want to see them bring some youth in, possibly even a JUCO guy to compete immediately. That's been a real strong point. I still don't think people give General Hunt enough credit for how dominant he really is in the middle, because you can see all the success Isaiah Major and those linebackers are having, but they're able to use their athleticism, run freely, make plays because General Hunt's eating up double, triple teams on the inside.
Great point, Zach. Gerald, how about you?
Yeah, I kind of got a fuse of what Rory and Zach said. The guys gotta stay hungry, and like I said, I think it's a good thing that they returned a lot of those all conference selections for next season with the new look team, because it's like the guys that's returning, they can be like, we want to get another ring, but also with the ring that they already got, they can motivate the new guys. They might start bringing the ring around the locker room, showing the new guys like, you want one of these right here. You ain't got these. You want one of these. And, that might can be able to motivate. That might can be able to motivate those guys. And then as far as position-wise, the trenches. Got to get right in the trenches. You return most of your offensive line, but like I said, you want to have depth and the defensive line. Because, over the past couple years, there's been injuries on both. And you just want to make sure, you got those guys that can be able to come in, and there's no type of drop off. We all know quarterback situation. I don't even think we got to speak towards that. Like I said, they picked up the transfer quarterback today, but trenches. And running back. I want to see someone like a Terrell Jenningsville come in, because you're losing him, and I felt that he was the best running back from day one. Just seeing him and knowing his history within the office, I think he just had a down year last year in 2022. So bringing another running back, so you can have that 3-headed monster again, and everybody have different types of skill sets, and you'll be pretty well off.
Well said.
Hey, Brian,
Yeah.
to that point, I know we brought these guests on for a reason, man. These are some really smart guys, and when they give you an answer, they have a lot of depth in what they're talking about. And the only thing I would add, I just had to jump in on this because they hit the right points, is because our schedule next year.
Oh, yeah.
We played Norfolk State and South Carolina State out of conference, and we played 2 FBS teams. So having depth, quality depth on the line of scrimmage is going to be key to get past that first 4 or 5 games of the season. So absolutely, I just want to throw that carrot in there.
And I'm 100% with you on depth, because that was what was so unique. I remember we talked about in our preseason, our preview show, that this team was really built with a real legitimate 2 deep. The first and the second levels was the best it's ever been at FAMU under Coach Simmons. And with all the departures of those graduates, how do we continue and maintain that depth, especially in the trenches? So that is going to be a big question with our schedule. All right, gentlemen. Look, hey, we appreciate you. You appreciate your guys, your coverage of not just FAMU, but FAMU's place within the FCS is greatly appreciated. Rory, Gerald, you guys are boots on the ground, 100% in Tallahassee. So we would definitely let people know. So we do a roll call real quick. Let people know where they can check out your coverage, and we'll just kind of keep it going from there. So I'll start Rory, and then Zach, and then Gerald.
Well, I gotta say first, thank you guys so much for inviting me back here on the ONG StrikeZone. I had so much fun the last time. I didn't think we could top it, but we did. And then Kelvin, I love your hat, bro. That is, man, Santa ain't got nothing on that hat right there, bro. That's the go-to standard right there.
Thank you.
Rattler Review Podcast, all things FAMU, getting set to drop our 2023 finale. We'll be presenting or announcing the Venom Awards going out for male and female freshman of the year, male and female, men's and women's newcomer of the year, athlete of the year, coach of the year, and team of the year, and a recap of the Celebration Bowl. You can catch Rattler Review, all things FAMU, on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Libsyn.com, our host site, and Apple Podcasts. Follow me on Instagram at Rattler Review, and on Facebook at Rattler Review, and Twitter or X, Married to Game 1 with the number 2 and the number 1. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everybody. God bless you all, and thank you again so much for inviting me on the show. And Kelvin, yo, bro, I'm gonna need to borrow that hat one before Christmas hits.
Send the link.
You can't have this one. Hey, you can't have this one, but I'll look out for you.
There it is, bro.
Zach, hit them up. Let the people know.
Yeah, man. Find me at Zach McKinnell, FCS Football Central on Sports Illustrated, and Fan Nation, man. The Bluebloods on YouTube, all podcast streaming platforms, man. Again, I appreciate you guys having me on here. Always love talking the Rattlers, man. It was a heck of a season, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at SWAC Media Day, man, or maybe even the spring game. Get down to Tallahassee for that.
All right, for sure. Hey, you might see us at the Legacy Bowl. There's gonna be a lot of Rattlers there, so I mean, we might just be at the Legacy Bowl.
I'll be down there all week, man. I've been down there Monday to Saturday the past 2 years. Telling you guys it's a blast, man. They do a heck of a job, especially welcoming media in. You guys know how it is. Some places don't welcome media, don't give them much access. Man, they do a heck of a job down there at the Legacy Bowl, so you guys will enjoy it.
All right. Appreciate it. GT3 on the road. Let people know.
Hey man, yeah, I'm just now getting in Savannah, so y'all see me make the transition from Florida to Savannah, but yeah, man, like always, man, I appreciate y'all for having me on the show. I always appreciate the invite. For a little minute, I wasn't getting no invites. I was like, they never gonna have me on the show. Did I do so? But yeah, man, coverage. My coverage. I put all my stuff on Twitter at 3PG, the number 3PEATGEE on Twitter, 3PG. I'm gonna be off the grid a little bit, coverage wise. I'm about to go enjoy the holidays, but when 2024 start back up, we'll be back to it. So I got another story dropping on Friday. Then after that, that'll be my last one into the new year. So I don't want nobody thinking I'm abandoning them. So yeah, man, appreciate the invite. Happy holidays to all of y'all, man. And it's been a good season, and I'm ready for the next one to start.
Well said. And we always appreciate you tagging us on your articles so that way we can read them and then retweet them out. So thank you for doing that. All right, gentlemen, thank you for your time this evening. You and your families, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of you.
Happy holidays, guys.
Again, you guys be well, all right?
Happy holidays. And thank you guys for coming on.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Those are our guys joining us. Hey, let's we're gonna stay here because our head ball coach is in the studio. So we're not gonna go to commercial. We're gonna go right to him because he's a busy man. It's been a long day. It's a long night. It is National Signing Day. So let's go ahead and bring on the head coach of the 2023 Cricket Celebration Bowl
champion,
HBCU National
Champion coach,
none other than the champion coach, SWAC Coach of the Year. He is SWAC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Baby.
our coach, head coach Willie Shotgun Simmons. What up, coach? What up, coach?
How's it going, guys? Good to see everyone.
What's
Good to
up,
see you,
coach?
Man, coach, what a whirlwind, man. And look, we've been talking offline amongst ourselves, going through different interviews, trying to make sure it's like, man, coach is everywhere. All right, we gotta I don't know, we gotta find some questions that coach hadn't been asked, because we didn't heard it all, and I mean almost heard it all. So I don't know.
I got a couple.
I'm gonna let
I
Marcus
hope,
start.
I hope
Marcus,
I haven't.
Yeah, Marcus.
Hope
maybe
you
got
haven't
a
heard them
couple
yet.
months. Go ahead, Marcus.
Coach, it was wonderful meeting you at on the radio rows. My first time meeting you. I know Kelvin and Brian met you before, but it was a truly honor and a pleasure. And thank you for spending time with us before the game to give us some insight. One of the questions, burning question I have, I've got like 3 here, but the first one I want to ask, and I have it labeled controversial plays. Can you explain to me why that was not a safety on the Howard kick returner when it looked like, and of course, I'm floating on cloud 9 because FAMU won, but it looked like he fielded the ball or even muffed the ball and went back in the end zone. And just from watching, not having played formally, but watching, okay, it's a live ball because it's a kickoff, went more than 10 yards. He had it in the field of play, and it went back into the end zone. And what was the third thing? I can't remember, but it seemed like a whole convergence of things that would imply that would be a safety. Why was it not a safety?
So the explanation that the officials gave, which if what they said was accurate, it is true. You're allowed to, if you muff a kickoff, a muff means that you never fully possessed the ball. A fumble means you caught it, made a football move, and it came out. He never possessed the ball on the kickoff. So he technically muffed it. It muffed in the field of play, went into the end zone. Once it goes into the end zone, you usually have the ability to down the ball in the end zone. So that's not a safety. That's a touchback. So what the player did was he went and he kneeled down and touched the ball and grabbed the ball. And our player, thinking the ball was still alive and that he could make a play on it, hit the young man, and their team recovered in the end zone. So we thought it would have been a safety, but the official said that the young man actually did possess the ball when he went down to take a knee and held it long enough to officially be ruled a touchback. Now, the whistle never blew. Play was never stopped, which was our gripe as to why a penalty was thrown, because I guess they want the player to assume that the opposing team is down. And our player didn't think so. But based on the rule, you are allowed to kneel a muff kickoff that goes into the end zone, and that's what they ruled that the young man did, and then they called our young man for unnecessary roughness, which added another 15 yards onto it. So it was kind of a double whammy for us. Fortunately, it didn't result in points, but that was the ruling as to why it wasn't a safety. It was indeed a touchback.
Hey, let me add real quick. Let me add, Coach, did you know that actually they didn't add 15? They only added 10.
Well, I think they may have put it at 35. I think
yes,
they put the ball at 35.
They did. They put it at the 35. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's just one of those little things. Cause look, I'm in the stat room, and we're all sitting there wondering, like, how come they didn't put it at the 40? And I'm like, okay, fine. You want to put it at the 40? We'll take it. But I mean, I just, that was when, and obviously you're not going to argue it. You're going to be like, hey, put the ball at the 40, guys. No, I get it. I get it. I've heard you talk about the fumble or the flea flicker, and is there a play that that you called when you kind of process back and say, man, I probably wouldn't do that one, or maybe on the flip side of that, you kind of pat yourself and like, yeah, I called a pretty good play at that point in time. What's that one play maybe on both sides of that spectrum? One you called that you really kind of patting your back on, and then maybe one that you're like, I probably wish I wouldn't have called that one right there.
Well, obviously one would think the pick six, but I thought it was a solid call. We just didn't execute it. But the one I would have wanted to get back was the quarterback sneak, on the second drive. I assumed the spot was closer than it actually was. We weren't getting very favorable ball spots the first drive. So I kind of anticipated, because I saw Jamarie fall backwards with the ball, and I thought they would spot it closer to the first down marker, and they didn't. And so I called the sneak, and it was probably too far to sneak at that point. But that's probably the one that I would go back to, and probably hand the ball to Yant, or Terrell, and let those guys fall for a 4-yard, as opposed to quarterback sneaking. So that's probably the only one that I said if I can get it back, I would take it back.
Did you want? And I asked this question because again, I'm up in the box watching. Was that a reviewable play at that moment?
Well, yeah, a lot of those spots. Every time I would question it, they would say, "Hey, the replay's already looked at it. They confirmed the spot." And so it was just one of those deals where it was really kind of frustrating, because we felt that we were just not getting favorable spots, like I said, and even the opening drive, the first play of the game, I thought we had a first down on the very first play. And so we wanted to stay on script. The second play was a jet sweep, but I wouldn't call it jet sweep on 2nd and 1. I would run something more vertical downhill or take a shot. So we ended up losing yards on the second play because we ran a jet sweep and they tackled us in the backfield. And then on 3rd down, we got hit on the blitz and fumbled. So not saying I would take that call back. We weren't getting accurate spots. It was hard to kind of stay in the flow of the game when you look up and you think the ball spotted on 1 yard line and it's actually spotted on another. So that was difficult, but we eventually adjusted to it, kind of slowed our thought process down a little bit, made sure we got accurate information before we called the next play.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, congratulations again. Great season. I want to know what you was thinking, Coach, in terms of what did you see in that 4th quarter where you decided to feature, or you hit those 2 plays to your running back out of the backfield? Was there something that y'all saw as a staff, or how, because you went to that play twice, even though one was more vertical and the other one was more like a wheel route, but to Dean. So I kind of want to know what you're thinking on throwing to your running backs. And then after you went down, after the pick six happened, what was your mindset, your philosophy going into that next drive?
Well, so as far as the throws to Wu, Kevin Dean, we started to see that when we were lining up in 12 personnel, they were playing a bunch of man coverage. And so obviously when you play man, those linebackers have the running back man to man. And so the play that we ran, the first play we ran wasn't out of 12 personnel, it was out of 11. So we thought they'd be in more zone, which they were. And it was a play that we had practiced, a few times throughout the week. Was just verticals for verticals, but having the running back leak out of the backfield as the inside vertical into the boundary. And, we lined up and took the tight end and kind of ran him across the safety's face. He grabbed the tight end just like we thought he would, because we sent the number 2 receiver in motion in the backfield. And so safety thinks that the tight end is the only one that's going vertical. He jumps him, and then, Wu was open down the sideline, or not up the hash, and Jeremy made a great throw to find him. That was the first touchdown. And then on the wheel, out of the backfield, again, we figured in 12 personnel, they'd be in man. When you're in man coverage, single high coverage, the 2 linebackers, they both have the running back. If he goes to the left side, the left backer has him. He goes to the right side, the right backer has him. On that particular play, we pulled the backside guard, which draws the eyes of the left linebacker because he sees his guard pulling. And so he ran with the pull like most linebackers do. We were able to leak the running back out of the backfield. And, before they realized that he was out, it was too late. Moussa was able to find him, and, he was able to outrace the defense to the end zone. So just kind of playing the percentages. It's a great route versus man. Typically, it's a route that we run closer to the end zone. But we just, it felt right to call it at that moment out in the open field. And that's what we were able to do. Your second question about after the pick, I really just wanted to calm the guys down, and assure them that, hey, we had plenty of time left. It was 7 minutes still left in the game. We were only down by 2. We got one of the most automatic kickers in the country, so we can just get the ball in field goal range. We'd be fine. We wanted to have some. We needed to move the ball. That was definitely one of the things. We definitely need to move the ball. So we kind of ran some higher percentage plays and got the ball out to Kevin in the flat again. He was able to have a big run, threw a screen to Terrell. He was able to make some positive yards. And then we found ourselves, on the plus side of the field, which set up the field position to run the flea flickers. So, again, just kind of going with the flow. As a play caller, you just kind of call it and say, pray for the best. And fortunately for us, the guys executed the calls that we made. I'm on the phone, baby. And they did a really good job of it. So, but, it was definitely a risky call. But fortunately for us, it worked out.
I love the multitasking.
Championship call. That's what it is.
Championship call, championship multitasker. You got the dog, you got the daughter. I mean,
got a whole lot going on.
Got a lot going on. Marcus, go ahead, Coach.
Coach, my question, even though I know you're basking in the glow of the recent championship victory, but I wanted to ask, with the pending AFCA convention coming up, do you have any plans or any intention to seek out other coaches who have been in a similar position, having won a championship and returning, and talking about any of the positives and some potential things to look out for when you come back for the next season?
Well, obviously I have guys in the profession that I talk to often. Some at the same level, some higher levels, some even lower levels. Because I think winning is winning, whether you're Division III, Division II, NAIA, Division I. It's hard to win, and so just talking to guys about what it's like to be the hunted. We kind of felt that this year, being picked to win the SWAC East. Having the most preseason all-conference players. So we kind of went into the season feeling like we were the hunted. And so now it's, how do you have that mindset coming into the season when you've won a championship? How do you keep the guys motivated? What type of things do you do to not allow complacency to set in? And that's our goal. I think these guys, once you get a taste of it, hopefully you want another taste. And so for the guys returning, I think that's what we're looking for. I can say that I've been pleased with the mindset of some of the returning guys. I mean, Junior Muratovic has been at the field house every day. I mean, he was in there on Monday wanting to watch the game. He and Moose. Moose always wants to watch it. But Junior was right there with him, wanting to watch the game. He was out there on the field throwing with some of his teammates, already. So he's already kind of taking that mindset that he wants to be the next guy. And he's not the only one. So just seeing their mindset, just seeing the returners, kind of having that type of killer instinct to say, hey, we've had a taste of this success. We want to run this thing back, and all the conversations now about running it back. So I'll talk to some guys, obviously, but I think this team has the temperament to do what's needed to position themselves to do it all over again.
Okay, thank you.
One of the questions that you touched on this a little bit, I think I heard this afternoon at the 2:20. Obviously, National Signing Day today, so you're getting the first. I've already seen kind of 5 or 6 that have already signed, but it had to do with the offensive line. You mentioned that you've got at least 3 to 4, possibly at least 4 returners on the offensive line. That was correct, or anticipated returning? Is that correct?
Yes, 4. 4 start. 4. Well, Jalen Goss will be penciled as a starter. Obviously, he missed most of this season with an injury, but he'll return. Who was a preseason first-team all-conference selection this year, so I'm counting him in that 4. But T.J. Lee, Cardell Thomas, and Ashton Grable all return. Who started every game this year, and then Jalen Goss will return as well. So that gives us 4 guys that have started quality games for us returning. The only true starter that we lose is Cameron Colvin.
Okay. And so I guess my question as we maybe look at a little bit of recruiting or this the signing day, with so many players that exhausted their last year of eligibility, 30 something. I don't know the total number, 30 plus. As you bring in a new group of guys, obviously, do you have a number in mind, percentage, when you say portal versus high school? What does that look like in your mind right now?
Well, we try to look at the mid-year signing period to fill immediate needs, and so there are some positional needs that we feel are critical for us to replenish right now to be able to go through the spring. So with those, we'll focus heavily on the transfers and then junior colleges, which they're technically transfers as well. So the transfers are more the now priority. Once we feel like we've met those needs, then we will turn to the high school recruiting to now build, your roster from the bottom up. You don't want to be too top heavy, obviously, with too many seniors and juniors. And not a lot of young guys in the program. Somebody has to keep this thing going once, these seniors leave. And you don't want to have to keep dipping in the portal every year to bring in a new batch. I mean, I think the more consistency you can have in the locker room of guys that understand the standard, the better. And so although we have well over 30 guys leaving the program, we do have a large group of young men returning who play quality reps, who understand what the standard is, who can drive that message home. And many of those guys were high school signees. And so we never want to truly neglect high school. It's just that now with the transfer portal, we're able to dip into it a lot earlier now than in the past. And so we'll bring in some mid-year guys, but definitely attack the high school recruiting landscape, extremely hard come January.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Kelvin. Kelvin, are you there?
Coach, I want to know what's your thoughts on what's next for your program, right? So now we've been building up. You had 9 wins. Now you came in as a favorite. You were able to finish off the season as a champion. There's been improvements in terms of facilities. You started off with grass, which was dirt, and you went to turf, and then you went to new stands and some enhancements to the field house. So what's next? What do you need to maintain and to even grow FAMU football even more?
Well, I think I probably echo the sentiments of every head coach in the country, is that it never stops. And I'll use my alma mater as an example. When I went there in 1999, they promised us an indoor facility. And lo and behold, by the time I left in 2003, we didn't have it, but they finally built the indoor facility. They did the West End Zone renovations, I think around 2008, 9, somewhere in there. Then you look up 5 years later, they've done another phase of the West End Zone. And then 5 years later, another phase of the West. It's like, well, how many more West End Zones can we build? You're just adding to what you already have. And so it's that same mindset, Yeah, we did some major renovations to Gallimore Powell over the last 3 years. Brand new lockers, new weight equipment, training room equipment, gutted out some areas to create more space, put new floors down. Did a lot of really good things. But put wraps on the walls. But now what's next? We still, we still need to figure out a way to create more space there in the facility. One of the main things that we lack right now is a team meeting room. And, we're always trying to find ways to empower our players, so we start our speaker series in the springtime where we'll bring guest speakers in from different areas to talk to the guys about everything, financial literacy, professional development, Title IX issues, law enforcement, you name it, anything that affects these young men, we want to bring people in to educate them. And right now we can't do that in our facility. We have to, go over across campus and find one of the auditoriums to do that. Whereas it would be amazing if we had a stadium style team meeting room, like a lot of the larger programs. There's still some things that we need to do to the equipment room to get the hot and cold tubs up and running. That's been a conversational piece really for the last 6 years of how to best utilize that space. And so there's some facility enhancements that still sorely need to be addressed. As far as the uniforms and all those things, equipment, I think we're in good shape, but always looking for ways to continue to provide a world-class experience for our student athletes and give them the amenities that they see at a lot of other places, because that's the way to recruit the best and the brightest, is to be able to show them that you have those resources, not maybe to the scale of a Power 5 program, but the access to it, to some of those things. And so that will be the next phase for me is putting our head together with the Booster Club, the 220 Quarterback Club, the Rattler Club, all our affinity groups, and figure out, hey, how do we come up with some capital campaigns possibly to do some much needed upgrades to Gallimore Power Fieldhouse.
Thank you, Coach. I needed you to say that so that Rattler Nation can hear it and they can, and the powers that be can hear it. So good stuff. Agreed.
Exactly. Real quick, Coach, I know it's late, so we won't hold you. I'll ask one last final question.
Marcus said he had 2 questions that I hadn't heard, so I'm anxious to hear what those questions are.
Did you get one? I think you have one. Marcus, you got a second one in there? You're on mute.
You're on mute, Marcus.
I think you elaborated on the returning players, because I was going to ask, could you project how many class of 2019 players may be coming back? Because in my understanding, that maybe the second to last year of players who have a COVID exception.
No, I think this is the last class. I think the 19th class is the last one.
Okay. So I don't know how many of those players are coming back, just from a roster management standpoint, to understand who we anticipate coming back and seeing compete in 2024. That's one question. The other one was just the overall success FAMU has had in the SWAC. I mean, we're 6 championships, 2 in volleyball, and football, football, tennis, baseball,
cross country,
and cross country. I mean, 6 championships across our first 3 seasons in the SWAC, and hopefully more coming. I don't know if that was in line with what your expectations were, or if it's above, or if it's right on. What's your perception and reaction to seeing that?
I'll address that one first. I'm not surprised. I think we have some phenomenal coaches here, at Florida A&M. I think Coach Nikki over in tennis, does an amazing job. Coach Gokhan, obviously, winning back-to-back championships and, losing in the finals this year, does an amazing job. Coach Shute with the baseball team. I'm really excited to see what Coach Ellen Wood will do with the track and field team. Even Coach Gordon with women's basketball. We may be maybe a year or so away, but I'm really excited about the energy she brings and the type of young lady she's bringing into the fold. And so again, I think most of us have those high expectations for our athletics program. We feel like, being where we are, location, our recruiting base, that there's no reason why we shouldn't be in the conversation in every sport. And if you look at it this year, every sport that's been played this fall, FAMU has been in the championship. We won cross country, we lost volleyball, we won football. And so we've been in that conversation with every sport. So like I said, looking forward to seeing the baseball team come back, looking forward to seeing the tennis team, see if they can repeat. The golf team. I mean, Coach Rice is amazing as a golf coach, and he's even trying to help me get my swing down pat. So again, I'm excited because, again, the quality of the coaches And that's why we're always advocating for them, to receive their just due, as far as salaries and those type of things, because, I'd hate to lose a coach to a member school. And last year we almost lost Coach Rice to Prairie View, and that would have been devastating. I know Coach Gokon has been, approached by teams within the conference, and so if I would hate to lose them to money and things like that, so let's find ways to compensate our coaches, to take care of our assistant coaches, because I think the continuity is really important. It's taken us 6 years to build this program to the point it is today. And I don't know if that could have been done in 1 year, so I think the continuity is very, very critical. But I'm not surprised by the success that we've had in the SWAC. And we have great support, great support from our athletic director, Tiffany Don Sykes, our president, even Dr. Robinson. That support goes a long way. And I definitely don't think that's the point that needs to be overlooked. And then the first question about the returners, we do have a lot of guys returning. We lost, like I said, 30 plus players, but we do have a lot of guys that have a lot of snaps. I think of the 13 guys who made all conference, I think 7 return, and so over half of our all conference performers return, and that's a good sign. We definitely got to make up some numbers in the receiving room and the defensive tackle room. But outside of those 2 positions, I feel really good about the depth we have across the board. All of our specialists return. Obviously got to replace Moussa, got to replace the receivers, got to replace some D tackles, and obviously we got to replace Isaiah Major. But we do have some talented linebackers waiting in the wings. So I think we got enough firepower to be in the conversation. And then once recruiting is over and once we're able to secure a few more commitments from some quality student athletes, I think you'll see a team that's really close to the talent level that we had this year, which was phenomenal.
Yeah. Thank you.
What's the one amongst all the calls or the honors or accolades? What's the really most or the coolest? Kind of like, wow, that really somebody really thought that much to give me a shout out or give me a call or recognize me. What's the one thing that you're kind of like, man, that was awesome. That's pretty cool that they recognize me for that or recognize us for that.
Well, of course, I've got a ton of calls and texts. I mentioned earlier today or this week on my call, just to call in the text from all the former head coaches, Billy Joe Taylor, Rudy Hubbard. The FaceTime Rudy Hubbard after the game was a monumental moment for me. And so those are all special. But today, the Tallahassee Quarterback Club, made me an honorary lifetime member. And they've only done that for 2 coaches. And that's Jake Gaither back in 1952. And that's Bobby Bowden, who coached at Florida State for 30 plus years. So to honor me with that, to be only the 3rd person to receive that award or that honor, and the first 2 are Jake Gaither and Bobby Bowden, like that's almost unreal. And so that was a surprise today. There were a lot of proclamations and dignitaries there today at the 220 Quarterback Club, but when Hugh Thomason, president of the Tallahassee Quarterback Club, made that declaration, it kind of touched me, not because of being a member of the club. It's great. They're a great club and I enjoy every time I go. But to know that I'm only the 3rd person to do that. And the first 2 were, I mean, there are no better coaches in the state of Florida history than Jake Gaither and Bobby Bowden. And to be honored the same way those guys did is just truly amazing.
And you're on the front end of your coaching career. So, I mean, that right there is awesome. I want to encourage, and I don't know, I'm speaking this into existence with the hope that somebody's listening. And you said it when you talked about our coaches, and someone who has coached in high schools for 20-something years, and you meet great people and you great coaches, you kind of I get a sense of good coaches, and you're 100%. We have outstanding coaches. We are so blessed and fortunate right now at Florida A&M, and I think that's why we all stand on the table. And God rest his soul, Kofi would stand on the table so loud and talk about doing more with more. But I hope that we can get like a coaches series, or you guys inviting in coach, because you guys are doing amazing work with young people, and it's challenging with young people today, and you're still getting the greatness from them. And so I know there are coaches around the country who would pay money, big money, I think, to come hear you guys talk. And I'm not talking just you. You mentioned those other coaches. You guys have tapped into something, and I don't know. Look, if it takes us sharing the secrets to help build up the coffers, then maybe we got to do it. But you guys got something, and you have something, and the other coaches around Tallahassee and FAMU have something, and I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I just wanted to share that and put that into existence. And somebody who's listening, watching, may say, "Yeah, we need to do that idea. Hell, take it. Feel free. Make something out of it." And I hope it brings some fruits to all the labor that you have done. I got one more. Hey, one more. Kenya asks, she wants to know, Coach, the cigars. She's going to send you a box. So what's the cigar that you like? She says she's going to take care of you. She wants to know.
My favorite is Tabak Special. So I'll take a box of Tabak if you feeling magnanimous.
All right, there you go. There you go, Kenya. So I wanted to make sure I put that out there. Hey, again, thank you. We can't say it enough. Congratulations to you, your staff. You got a great staff. You built up some great players, man. I had so much fun, and just really talking to how great as student athletes we have, and the great coaches that you've assembled. I mean, you really have assembled a great team of people, leaders, coaches, players, and man, I just thank you, Coach. You do so many great things on behalf of the university, and so I see some great ideas. We're gonna talk offline with all these people in the chat. We're gonna find a way how to keep doing more with more, so that we can keep you around as long as Jake Gaither was at FAMU. So that way they renamed a couple of streets after Willie Simmons. All right.
Well, I appreciate you guys, man. Happy holidays. I see Kevin's already in the holiday spirit with this hat on. So again, hope you guys enjoy the time with family, and glad to be able to just bring some great feelings to the city, to the university, to our fan base, and definitely honored to be able to lead and make everyone's holidays a little bit more special.
Yes, indeed. You have done that, Coach. So again, thank you. I'm sure on behalf of all of Rattler Nation, we say thank you. Happy holidays. Hey, thank you to your family and all the coaches' families, because they sacrifice, and I love it that you're there. You got your little one there. Thank you to all of them, because you guys put in a lot of work to be champions, and they sacrifice a lot to give you guys that time, and so we appreciate them too. So God bless all of y'all, Coach. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We'll talk down the road, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Go Rattlers.
All right, Coach.
All right, go Rattlers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, that's our head ball coach, Coach Willie Shotgun Simmons. Ooh, man, what a show. What a show. Great. I'm seeing some great ideas and comments. I'm going to hit one up that I saw Mr. Campbell. Hold on. Campbell, you dropping all kinds of nuggets here. Hold on. I seen a couple things in here. Let me spotlighted them as I saw him. Let's see. It's a great question right here. Top 3 teams all time in the integration era. I agree with this. And I guess if the integration era, we'd have to say we'd have to include the FCS team in there as well, right?
Yep.
So then who is your third? Who is your third? Is it I'll say who mine is, and then you guys say who yours. My third is the Pat Bonner team. The Pat Bonner team that I think that was at 98. The 98 team.
That was 98.
The 98 team. I would put the 98 team as my number 3. What about you, Kelvin or Marcus?
So I'm gonna go 7-18 first.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to 99 team.
National semifinals.
Second. Okay. Yes.
All right.
And then I'm gonna go this team, and I'm gonna put them with the 98 team.
Okay.
So that's 4.
Yeah. Kelvin be working it. He probably puts it in a tie. He played tie for third.
Tie. That's what I'm saying. A tie.
Tie for third. See. All right. What about you, Marcus?
Yeah, I was debating that too because I was thinking the 77 team, they went undefeated. And of course, this is all, and I wasn't there. I wasn't in Tallahassee at the time, so you hear folklore. So I was wondering how that undefeated team, how that rolls into it too. So I would have to have a top 4, but if you limit it to a top 3, I would probably have to say, the 78 team first because of all they went through, not only winning the first 1AA title.
And petition that they had petitioned to get into
the backstory for that. And I didn't know about all that till I read some articles. There's a wonderful article by some poster that he put out like 2 or 3 years ago, and I have a link to it about the MEAC and how it came about fighting for 1AA, and then included in that was FAMU and the administration and even a retired Jake Gaither petitioning to the NCAA to allow FAMU to be 1AA in transition, and that was the year we won. I was 78 when we won the championship, so I'd have to put them number 1. Number 2,
AD? Wasn't Gaither the athletic director at that time?
No, he was retired.
I think he retired.
He'd already retired,
but he was so revered that he could.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So I'd have to put them number 1, and I was flipping between a 2 and 3 because I don't want to have recency bias. So I was, thinking. I was thinking the 98 team just based on record, but in progression, 99 went a little bit further. And then whether this team would be 3 or 4. And I would say 79 would be close. I don't think our record went that well, but the defeat on Miami, defeating the FBS team looms large.
What did we do in 90? I saw a poster here, AWMS said 1990. What was significant of the 90 team? And I'm showing my, this was before I came to FAM. So 90.
I want to say that was a MEAC championship team. I don't know. I'm assuming that Tony Ezel was leading that team because that was around that time and I was there. Okay. I don't recall all the details. Yeah. I don't think we had made the playoffs yet because we still had the Florida Classic. That was a time conflict with the playoffs, so we weren't 1AA playoff bound.
Okay.
And it was before the advent of the first Heritage Bowl, which I think was 93. We actually played on campus, and I think we played Grambling a second time.
Yes, it was. That's a great point. I remember that because that was right outside. This concept. Cold. It was like the Heritage Bowl, and you were like, "What is the Heritage Bowl?" It's like, "Oh, it's being played in our stadium." You're like, "What?" It was like, "Yeah." It wasn't well advertised. It wasn't very well marketed or promoted. It was just, you kind of had to be in the know or follow HBCU football, I guess, to really know that they were playing this thing called a Heritage Bowl, and the first Heritage Bowl I think was being played at FAMU with Grambling in it. And I remember you just flashback to being on campus and staying in Gibbs Hall when that thing was being played. I remember that. Another good note here from Mr. Campbell: FAMU is the only HBCU to be voted Black College National Champion, win the 1AA, now FCS championship, and win the Celebration Bowl. No other school has ever done that. Well,
will ever do that.
Will ever do that. Yeah, that might be a better way of saying it. Sorry, misread that. Appreciate that. Let's see what other things to start. Oh, here's one last one. The trifecta here from Mr. Campbell. Find 200 Rattler supporters who can do $500 to raise $100K. Is that all it takes? Man, I like that.
$100K for, I guess, anything.
He said for Willie campaign.
Rattlers for Willie campaign. Look, is that what it's going to take? Is that what it's going to take?
Well, yeah, we might need to because
add to the add to the annual salary. Especially if the way these prices for coaches are going up in the SWAC. You see what happened over at Texas Southern, where they may be balking a little bit at what they were supposedly going to be paying Coach McNair.
Nah, it's politics. It has nothing to do with Texas Southern. It's the Board of Regents. It's their regents, and there's somebody in the back there trying to contribute to chaos. That ain't necessarily that ain't necessarily SWAC. They ain't SWAC. The people trying to cause this chaos, but hopefully they'll go ahead and right this situation, because McNair, he can be dangerous there, and he done earned it, and so he don't give up his position and everything. I think it's very ugly, and at some point, in the show future, some of the ideals that the posters are talking about in terms of support and capital campaigns and so forth, we're gonna get back on that in January at some point and talk about some things. There's some things with guarantee games that are in Coach Gordon contract, and I think we need to have it as part of Coach Simmons contract that can help supplement his salary. If we're gonna play those, beat down games and those 700,000 and so forth, then we need to have a way of being able to let the coaches get a little bit of that, so that we can supplement their salaries and so forth. We got to be creative, but what we must do and always do is invest in athletics, because as we see, not only is there a great interest and a great visibility that comes with having a championship team, but there's also a lot of opportunity, and I don't think HBCU administration always get that. I mean, the largest events on campus are homecoming, athletic events. They talk about the viewership of the championship game, but that still was 1.3 something million people who watch FAMU football win a championship. So all of those things are important, man. That's why I asked Coach the way I did, because I remember the championship team in 78 winning a championship, and the next season we playing at Doak Campbell Stadium because our stadium condemned. And I don't ever want us to repeat any of that history, right? We are hot. We're in a good place. Like you said, we got a lot of good coaches. We got kids wanting to be here. We've made some pretty good investments in our facilities in terms of, I'm talking about dorms and the cafeterias on campus stuff. We got a lot of things we've got right. We got to put some money into athletics. Now, that's the next phase after these dorms go up. We got to, do right by baseball and some of these other facilities, get some new grandstands, some restrooms, some concessions, video boards, that kind of stuff. So, it costs to be champions, but making an investment, people, makes a difference. You heard me go over the things with Coach Simmons about just football and the journey from going from grass to turf to stands to and that's just your process. We made those investments. Now we champions. If you still want to be a champion, we got to continue to invest. All right, off the soapbox.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to reach out to Dr. Friday Stroud and see if I can learn what the numbers were just from the weekend, because I know we got this campaign and you want to tell me about the week, but in the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, give me those 3 days. How much did FAMU raise? FAMU Athletics Fund raise? Because that's another thing I want to point out is very important, is the link that we sent out on game day was to the Rattler Athletic Fund. It It wasn't to any other place, but to go right into athletics. The other message, now I've seen some stuff. God bless the NAA. You know, I mean, I know there's stuff they put a link out there, but I think that wasn't to the Rattler Athletic Fund. So, you know, I was saying we need to, you know, send that money right into athletics. Don't send it other places. Send it right into athletics so that 80s VP Sykes could use it and they'd have it. And hopefully we generated enough to cover, you know, those expenses that when she joined us on Media Row, you know, which by the way, that to me, that was the highlight. That was the second highlight of the weekend for me.
Awesome experience. Great.
I mean, you know, look, the fact that we got that win and being able to see it, but then getting the chance to actually sit across the table from VP Sykes, I mean, that was the second biggest thing for me. I mean, I love all the people I saw and all the things, but I mean, that to me, that took it. So, but I just I hope we can get some numbers. I'll make mention, you brought it up, the bowl week ratings. These are bowl week 1 college football ratings via sportsmediawatch.com. Hopefully you've seen the tweet or you've seen it reported, but the FAMU Howard game drew a rating of 0.9, which is the third most watched bowl game. That's 1.51 million views on ABC. The two games that were watched ahead of the Celebration Bowl was the LA Bowl, which drew in 2.38 million viewers, and the Cure Bowl, which drew in 1.95 million. Now, I'm going to talk about this narrative or the story headline is that the Celebration Bowl drew, and I'm going to read because I think I read it from HBCUsports.com that the Celebration Bowl drew the lowest number in the 8 years or whatever the headline reads. I'm trying to find it here. So give me just a second. But I think there's a proper perspective that needs to be had to that. Okay, here it is. Reading the headline. This is just a headline. Okay. Florida A&M's 30-26 win over Howard drew a 0.9 TV rating. It was the smallest audience in the 8-year history of the event. Now, what worries me about headlines like that is the context and maybe the perspective. I mean, here we are that attendance-wise at the stadium drew 41,000, third largest crowd ever in the history of the bowl game, right? The top three have drawn over 40. The third consecutive year that the Celebration Bowl drew over 40,000. Okay, so let's note that. Now we're talking eyes on television sets, right? What else? You guys know what else was playing at the same time that our game was playing?
NFL game, an NFL game as well as another bowl game.
Yeah, an NFL game between. Now you can talk smack about who it was. It was the Bengals and the Vikings, but it was NFL football. And if you know nothing else, nothing trumps NFL football. Well, almost nothing, right? So you've got that happening, the NFL game happening, and you got another bowl game. Okay. So I don't think there were in the previous 7 years an NFL game running congruently at the same time.
Hey, Brian, you're right. And I'm finna succinctly just say this real quick. So when the Celebration Bowl first started, it was the first bowl game of the season. So it was the only show in time, right? The last couple of years, there was one other game that would generally be, it wouldn't be at the same time, but it was another bowl game that existed, and because the Celebrations and Bowl stopped being the first game So I mean, you're right. Context matters, and you just being lazy when you don't when you put that kind of headline out there, and no people run with that, don't even put the context into the body of what you put out there. But at the end of the day, man, you know, it don't matter. We champions, and
it was the I'll finish by just saying it was the most watched HBCU football game, and it was the second most watched FCS football game. So context matters.
Yeah.
I just think I just wanted to say that. So you're not gonna steal my joy.
No, sir. No, that's right, champ.
Swag champs.
Let me say right now, I enjoyed the time we were able to work and hang out this weekend with you guys, man. It was a joy. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Marcus, for letting your daughter assist us, and she's awesome. Yeah. And hopefully she made all the good contacts and she enjoyed her experience as well. And happy holidays to y'all guys. Enjoy your families and enjoy your holidays and so forth. And I just appreciate going on this journey with y'all, and everything that you all bring to this show to allow it to grow the way it has, man. Folks, stopping us left and right, man. People. I mean, we got people from other schools who religiously watch. I know there's some folks who never post in the comments, but watch every episode. So it is a tribute to you guys and everything you all do and what y'all bring to the table. So anyway, happy holidays, love you, and happy holidays to the Rattler Nation and all our loyal fans too. We love you. We appreciate you watching the show. We try to give you good content, meaningful content, and it's centered around FAMU, but we dabble in some other stuff when necessary. And just thank you all. We love you, and to all those champions out there.
Marcus, you like to add anything?
Just for the champions. Just for the champions. If you ain't the champions, shut up. Shut up.
No, I don't know if I could top that. It's been good, and I was glad I was able to make it down and hang out, meet people, go to the game, and see a championship game live, and be able to bring my daughter down there. And actually, she has something she sent Roy. I think there was and I don't know if you got a chance to look at it. Maybe we could run it sometime in the future, once it gets approval. But it's like a chronicle of this past weekend. But it was a great time going back to my hometown and getting into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and hanging out with you guys and learning and observing how you guys move and operate, and meeting some of the folks who are influential in the HBCU space, and being reconnect with some like Dr. Cavill, and meeting others. And it was just a pleasure and a blessing.
Well, I will thank our guests on this championship show for coming on. Loaded show. We're back to our normal 8 o'clock Eastern time. Next show, next Wednesday probably. But thank you to everybody for jumping in early with us and getting in. Thank you, Alchester Sr. Thank you, Jeremy Moussa. Thank you, Sabrina Thompson. Miss Sabrina Thompson again. Licensing over the licensing for FAMU. That's Sabrina.Thompson@famu.edu. That's who you need to send your emails to with questions about licensing, vendors, and things of that nature. Thank you to our roundtable, Rory, Sharrock, Zach McKinnell, Gerald Thomas III, for taking time to join us. And as always, we appreciate Coach Willie Simmons for giving us
championship. He ain't shotgun no more. He coached championship Simmons.
Yes, indeed. So we appreciate him, and so thank you, Rattler Nation. Hit the thumbs up button wherever you are. Hit the like button wherever you are. Even if you're not in the comments, but you're just watching, that's how we know you're there. And you can always, if you see the scroll, you can always make a donation to the show, or you can join the JBN page and become a subscriber, become a member of, and just continue to help Black media, and then HBCU media. You can help us out. That's right. I wasn't petty tonight. I don't have any reason to be petty. I'm a champion. Champions aren't petty. Now, well, I'll get back to being petty in 2024, but I'm done being petty this year. All right. So for Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier, I am Brian Fulford. Thank you for watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe wherever you can at ONG Strike Zone, Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at ONG Strike Zone. And you can also find the show bcsn.net/watch. And that's going to do it for us. Another championship in Atlanta. Mission accomplished. Good night, Rattler Nation. Peace out.
Thank you.